leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. In time!
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
A big Sunday matchup in Toronto. The Blue Jays are amid a pivotal 8-game homestand and have an opportunity to win the first 4-game series of it if they can take this bout against the Yankees today. Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well. I'm Ben Schulman alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host, Nick Blackmore is our producer, and Tom Young and Michael Jose Collins are our technical directors. Toronto Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in North Bay and Thunder Bay. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. 2023 Cy Young finalist Kevin Gausman toes the rubber for Toronto today, battling against the guy who won the award last year, Garrett Cole. Both are off to slower starts due to spring injuries, and the Blue Jays look to pounce on Cole to continue their recent offensive surge. First pitch is next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming on the Sportsnet app, sportsnet.ca, and across the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're two men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're two men in a truck.
Two men and a truck, the movers who care.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop-on-the-bandwagon fan. We're the in-it-for-the-long-haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
Baseball fans, no matter who your team is, the Believe Podcast Network has you covered. Every team, every topic, everywhere. The most passionate fans and the most knowledgeable former players bring you the in-depth analysis you crave with podcasts dedicated to your team and your team only. Search Believe right now on the Sirius XM app and download your team's podcast today. That's BLEAV. Every team, everywhere.
Scotty Scheffler is the Masters champion.
The biggest events in golf are on PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
Network.
2-2. Swing and a fly ball deep right center. Going back, Grisham at the wall. That ball's gone. 0-2. Swing and a chopper down the third baseline. It's a fair ball bouncing into the left field corner. Kurt scores. Bichette behind him. He scores. They're giving the wave to IKF, and he'll slide in without a throw. It's a bases clearing double for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 8-1 Blue Jays.
Huge swing to get us on the board in the first. He's been really good for a few weeks now. You know, I know the home runs are there, RBIs are there. I don't know how he hit the last one off Ferguson. It looked like his dad a little bit, but when you're going good, you're going good.
That was Blue Jays manager John Schneider talking about Toronto's recent offensive surge, large in part due to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Vlad came up with 3 hits and 6 RBIs yesterday as the Blue Jays beat the New York Yankees 9-3. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. And Chris, it's a pretty good pitching matchup on the marquee for Game 4. Blue Jays can win the series. They'll throw Kevin Gausman. They'll have to go through Garrett Cole.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited
to see what version of Garrett Cole we get today, whether it's the 2023 version or the second inning of his last start against the New York Mets. Garrett Cole, his velocity was 97, 98 in that first inning against the New York Mets, and then it dipped dramatically, and we even saw a 91.5 mile an hour fastball on a home run that he gave up in that second inning. So I'm very, very interested and intrigued to see what version of him we get and whether he's healthy or not, to be quite frank.
We'll have to see. The Yankees certainly want to know that. They got knocked out of first place. They were technically in second on win percentage the last couple days, but now they are knocked out of first place with the Orioles holding sole possession of first for the first time since May 12th of this year with the loss yesterday. Speaking of, let's go to the Bet365 standings. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. It's Baltimore's 53-30 record atop the AL East. The Yankees are 53-32. The Red Sox 43-39. Tampa Bay 41-42. And the Blue Jays are 38-44. Blue Jays about to come out on the field. Just waiting a moment or two. Let's take a look at the lineups today. Chris, who is in Aaron Boone's Yankee lineup?
Leading off for those New York Yankees and playing shortstop is Anthony Volpe. At first base, batting second is Ben Rice. Aaron Judge will bat third and play right field. In left, batting fourth will be Alex Verdugo. Gleyber Torres will play second base and hit fifth. DHing and batting sixth is J.D. Davis. Behind the plate will be Austin Wells. He'll hit seventh. At third, batting eighth is DJ LeMahieu. And in center field, batting ninth is Trent Grisham. On the mound, making his third start of the year is Garrett Cole. And for the Blue Jays, leading off and playing shortstop is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. At second base, batting second is Spencer Horwitz. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will bat third and play first base. DHing and hitting fourth will be Justin Turner. George Springer is in right field and will bat fifth. In left, batting sixth is Dalton Varsho. Behind the plate, batting seventh will be Danny Jansen. Batting eighth and playing third is Ernie Clement. And in center field, batting ninth, will be Kevin Kiermaier. On the mound for the Jays is Kevin Gausman.
17th start of the season for the 6'2" right-hander Gausman. 33-year-old is 6-6 this year, a .426 earned run average in his 16 starts. 84 strikeouts and 20 walks for Gausman in 86 2/3 innings. His last start against Boston, it at least felt like a little bit better than the numbers came out for Gausman, who went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, only 3 of them earned, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. He gave up the big home runs to Devers and O'Neill.
Yeah, I feel a little bit like a broken record, but I think the biggest thing for Kevin Gausman is that fastball command, and then he can work in that split finger, and especially when talking about the split finger, it has to look like a fastball out of the hands. He really struggles when it tends to leak arm side and it looks like a ball out of the hand. Good big league hitters just lay off those pitches.
Gausman has given up a lot of hits on the fastball this year. We'll see what he does against the Yankees today in the first inning. Our first inning today is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. Popcorn streaming down as someone's dropped it from the 500 level. The Blue Jays on the field warming up in the home whites. For the Yankees, they wear their road grays, and as Danny Jansen throws through to second base, we are just about ready to go at Rogers Center. Game 4 of this series, big wins back and forth. The Blue Jays won 9-2 in Game 1. They lost 16-5 in Game 2. They won 9-3 yesterday. And this feels like a very pivotal game for both sides as Anthony Volpe steps up and into the batter's box. Volpe ready to go. First pitch from Gausman, fouled back, 0-1. Don't traditionally give the lineup changes minutes before the game, but the Yankees passed 1:30 for a 1:37 first pitch. Have put Juan Soto back in the lineup after originally scratching him. He's hitting on deck. First pitch today was 1:39, and next one misses inside to Volpe, 1-1. Wasn't even sure you were allowed to change your lineup that late into the day, but the Yankees have done it. And Soto's going to be on deck today. And batting second, playing right. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
So I guess we could just scratch everything we did to prepare, a lot like yesterday.
Yeah. Yep. The 1-2. Down and in. 19 degrees Celsius today in downtown Toronto, 66 Fahrenheit. Gray, cloudy day, but nice to have the roof open at Rogers Center. A little bit of wind seems to be blowing out toward left field. That's what the pennants and centers say. 2-2. Foul back into the screen. Gausman in the set, bouncing on his front left foot. Kicks and fires a 2-2. Check, swing, pitch inside, appeal to first. He got him. Jeremy Rehak says he went around, and Volpe is rung up to start the game.
Well, that's a good sign right there. That was a good split finger from Kevin Gausman. One that looked like a strike out of the hand, and then just dipped out of that strike zone, and Volpe couldn't hold up.
Deemed okay to go minutes before the game. Juan Soto steps into the box for the Yankees. One out, base is empty. Here's the pitch. Called inside, 1-0. Home plate umpire today is Tom Hanahan. It was Jeremy Rehak at first, who just punched out Anthony Volpe. Clint Vondrak at second. Crew chief DJ Rayburn mans third. The pitch. Downstairs, 2 balls, no strikes. Soto was off yesterday when the Yankees lost 9-3. Takes the 2-0 pitch. Called strike. Looked a little outside, but it's 2-1. Gausman kicks and fires. Swing and a fly ball hit to the left field corner. Racing over there, Varsho, and that one just gets into the first row foul. But up that tall wall, Varsho didn't have a play. It's 2-2.
I would have to imagine that if there's one guy that's probably more frustrated than you with that late lineup change, it has to be Kevin Gausman. They did all kinds of prep, I'm sure, without Juan Soto in that lineup, and sure enough, here he is.
I'm excited. I get to dive into the rules now about when you're allowed to publish lineups, because this one's crazy. They held their lineup late, did not put Soto in, and then shoved him back in there 5 minutes before the game. 2-2 pitch low, 3-2. J.D. Davis, by the way, has been bumped out of the lineup, and a whole host of defensive switches as well from the original lineup for the Yankees. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, base is empty. Here's the pitch. Swing and a hot shot to right field, a base hit. Took one bounce right on the lip of the turf before rolling toward George Springer. Juan Soto looks pretty healthy. He's got a hit.
And I'm sure Kevin Gausman would tell you, I don't care who's in the lineup. If I make my pitch, I'll get that guy out. But there is a huge difference between J.D. Davis, Ben Rice, and that guy standing on first base, Juan Soto.
Soto on first. Here's Aaron Judge. Blue Jays only retired him once yesterday. He was 2 for 3 with a walk. First pitch, down and away, ball 1. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Mike Jose Collins, and Tom Young, our technical directors. 1-0. Swing and a fly ball, center field. Going back, Kiermaier looking up, and that ball is way gone. Home run number 31 this season for Aaron Judge. It's 2-0 Yankees in the first.
Well, I'm sure you heard the oohs and the ahs. That ball was absolutely crushed to center field on a four-seam fastball that was up around thigh high. Aaron Judge doesn't miss many of those.
Well, Judge didn't have a homer in the first 3 games of this series, but he hadn't gone homerless in a series since June 4th to 6th versus Minnesota. You figured he'd get one. He increases his major league leading total to 31 and his major league leading RBI total to 82. 2-0 New York, and the pitch to Alex Verdugo, called strike 1. Here's the 0-1. Called low, borderline pitch. Threw him the splitter and just missed.
Home run number 31 for Aaron Judge. I know I ask you a lot of math questions, but what's he on pace for?
Chris, I am just not a calculator. Somewhere around 60. 1-1. Swing and a fly ball, left center. Making the call. Varsho, he's got it. And they're 2 down. Yeah, somewhere around 60.
That's impressive.
It's game 86 for the Yankees. They are ahead of a lot of teams in terms of games played this year. But he's certainly flirting with that 62-homer campaign that he put up in 2022, and maybe even more impressive because he struggled out of the gate. Usually if you're going to hit 60, you got to be good every month. First pitch to Gleyber Torres, line to center field. Kiermaier on the run, reaches down, makes a shoestring catch, and ends the inning. Juan Soto with a single, Aaron Judge with a home run. It's 2-0 Yankees, middle of the first. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa leads off against Garrett Cole next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart Deferred Payment Program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
Hey, this is Danny Jansen. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Home half of the first inning in Toronto. Blue Jays and Yankees in Game 4. It's 2-0 for the Yankees. Garrett Cole winds and delivers to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Called strike 1 with a fastball at 94. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 2-run homer by Aaron Judge in the top of the first. 0-1. Down and away. For Garrett Cole, it's his third start of the season. 0-1 with an earned run average of 9. He's given up 8 runs in 8 innings on 10 hits, 5 strikeouts, and 5 walks. Righty's 1-1. Swing and a soft roller to short. Charging in Volpe. Gloves. Quick transfer. Throw to first. Beats IKF. 1 out.
Aaron Judge said after Garrett Cole's last start against the Mets, hey, this is his spring training. This is exactly like his spring training. He could be in the minor leagues right now, still rehabbing, but the Yankees chose to bring him up and kind of continue that rehab process in the big leagues, which, I mean, I've never really heard of, but the Yankees chose to do that.
Well, I'll give you an example. Kevin Gausman, the guy who pitched for the Blue Jays, had to do it. Spencer Horwitz fouls back the first pitch, 0-1. Both teams had some injuries to deal with as these guys who are really important to their rotations were coming off injuries. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. You look at the Yankees, Clark Schmidt, who had been really good for them has been on the injured list for a little bit. So Cole only made a handful of rehab appearances, pitched 3 times, twice at AA, once at AAA. 1-1, swing and a miss by Horwitz, 1-2, and ended up throwing 12 1/3 innings of rehab, got up to 67 pitches before he made his season debut a couple starts ago. Horwitz, a .333 hitter in 18 games. Down in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cole winds and the pitch. Swing and a bouncing ball hit up the middle. Backhanded by the second baseman. Torres throws over to first. 2 down.
I actually had a chance to talk with Cole a couple days ago when he was standing on the field, and we know each other from the Pittsburgh Pirates, but I grabbed his left arm and I looked at him and I said, "How's your elbow?" And he looked at me and he said, "Well, Chris, I'm right-handed. My left elbow is great."
Yeah.
But it sounded to me like he was very honest in our conversation and the fact that he is healthy and ready to go.
First pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr., called strike 1. This is a matchup to watch today between the Blue Jays' hottest hitter and Yankees ace Garrett Cole. Cole features a lot of hard four-seam fastballs, his 0-1. Outside 1-1, throws a cutter, a knuckle curve, a changeup, and a slider as well. Guerrero has seen him plenty of times, 31 at-bats against Cole in his career. 1-1. Fastball misses outside at 95, 2 balls and 1 strike. But yeah, there was concern for Cole, you mentioned the elbow, when he saw Dr. Neil Elatrash in spring training. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a high chopper, left side, off the glove of the sprinting Volpe and into left field. Shortstop had a long run, probably didn't have a throw even if he got to it. And for Guerrero, that's another base hit. The 296 hitters on first with 2 outs.
Yeah, actually wasn't a bad pitch from Cole. It was a slider that kind of started down the middle, and you could see Cole's reaction. I'm not overly pumped about that result, but Vlad just able to stick the bat out and get it through that hole on the left side of the infield.
Guerrero now batting .298 after the hit. Here's Justin Turner with a runner on first. 2 outs, 2-0 Yankees, bottom 1. Cole from the stretch. First pitch upstairs, 1-0. Turner, a .251 hitter, 5 homers, 25 RBIs. You look at Cole again today, it's not 91.5, but the fastball is not the 96, 97 that we've seen a lot. That last one, 95. 1-0. Swing and a foul back. That was 96, but close to the middle of the plate. 1-1.
Well, like Aaron Judge said, this is his spring training. So if we were in spring training right now, and this was, let's say, his 4th or 5th start, and he was 94, 95, 96, nobody would really be talking about it. But because he's pitching in a major league regular season game, people really talk about it.
Next pitch is line to third, caught by LeMahieu. Good contact from Turner, but he hit it to the wrong spot. The Blue Jays come up with 1 hit off the bat of Guerrero, leave him on first, and trail 2-0 after 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The top soccer stars from across Europe clash in UEFA Euro 2024. Hear the action on Sirius XM from icons
Ronaldo, unbelievable goal!
to international powerhouses.
4-1 Germany. This is a statement.
The best of the best battle for the chance to be called champions of Europe. UEFA Euro 2024. Hear live matches and expert analysis in the card on Fox Sports Channel 83 and Sirius XM FC 157, or listen on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your Sirius XM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on Sirius XM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. Sirius XM Sports. We're more than just a game. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues. Right now on Channel 87.
Aaron Judge drills a 3-run home run.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Your home for free agency is NBA Radio. We're breaking down all the transactions all week long on Channel 86 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
The second inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Kevin Gausman delivers the first pitch of the inning to Ben Rice, called strike one. 2-0 Yankees here as we start the second. And the 0-1. Broken bat, foul ball off to the left. Ball rolls to the left, and a shard of the barrel moves to the right of the field. Gausman will pick it up and just toss that sliver of wood out of fair territory. Rice gets a new piece of lumber.
You don't see those kind of broken bats very often. Just a sliver of the bat went flying, maybe about a quarter of the way towards Kevin Gausman, but that is a rare one.
It's because Rice was so far out in front of that splitter that it actually hit right off the top of the bat. 0-2. Outside. Michael Jose Collins, Tom Young, our technical directors today. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Show Ali, our host. Chris LaRue beside me. We were going to go with Eric Smith today, but 5 minutes before the game decided to make a switch. I'm Ben Schulman. 1-2. Check swing. Pitch was low. Appealed at third. He didn't go around. 2-2.
That is not true. You know I was on the schedule.
And that's the last I'll talk about. Had to mention it one more time. Juan Soto put into the lineup minutes before this game started. Rice was going to hit 2. Now he's batting in the 6th spot. 2-2. Fouled back just over the screen, third base side into the seats.
Maybe Kevin Gausman isn't more upset about it than you. I think you are number one on that list.
I think I'm number one. He's more mature than I am. Gausman, the righty in his 12th season, pitching against the Yankees for the 28th career start.
This is the last I'll say about it, too. You know Aaron Boone a little bit. Why don't you go have a talk with him after the game?
He'll get on the plane. Get him. 2-2 pitch. Low. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Gausman in 27 previous career starts, 8-7 against the Yankees, an earned run average of 3.21. A lot of those starts coming as Baltimore Oriole. 3-2 pitch. Just outside, ball 4, a leadoff walk for Rice.
That's another good at-bat from Ben Rice. We've seen a few good at-bats from him in this series. A guy that really doesn't have much big league time, but a lot like Spencer Horwitz, very patient at the plate.
Rice had a big day yesterday for the Yankees when he went 2 for 4 with a single and a double. He's on to start the second. Here's Austin Wells, the left-handed hitting catcher. Infield shifts to the pull side for the lefty. And the pitch. Low, ball 1. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is the Blue Jays shortstop today with Bo Bichette out of the lineup. He's playing right up the middle. Ernie Clement is almost evenly between second and third as the third baseman. Sun shining down on the diamond now. Still some clouds above. And the 1-0. High, 2 balls, no strikes. First base coach Travis Chapman in the year of Ben Rice at first. Third base is Luis Rojas for the Yankees. 2-0 pitch. Fouled back into the netting. Challenged him with a fastball. It's 2-1.
We talked about this before the game, but in order for Kevin Gausman to have success against this lineup today, he has to throw strikes with that fastball. Not only strikes, good strikes. He's thrown 28 pitches so far, only 15 strikes. That's not good enough.
Gausman with a leadoff walk to Rice to start this inning. Peaks at first and the 2-1. Fouled off the handle. That was a better fastball on the inside edge. Lands below our feet. It's 2-2.
Yeah, and the big word that you just said was better fastball. It has to be a good fastball. Not only a strike, a hittable strike, but it has to be kind of edge to edge, not nibbling, but especially with this lineup, especially against Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, you have to throw quality strikes, not just strikes.
2 balls and 2 strikes, runner on first. Gausman kicks and fires. Splitter in the dirt, full count. Gausman's fastball has not been on the edges as often this year and also has dropped a little bit in velocity. He's allowed a .304 batting average against it with a .560 slugging percentage. Last season, batters hit around .240 with a low 400s slugging percentage against his fastball. Even though the splitter is maybe his most notable pitch, he's going to throw the fastball more than anything else. Turn and throw over to first. Rice was leaning but dives back in safe. That was a little bit closer than most throws over. Now Travis Chapman again talking to Ben Rice. Gausman has allowed his fair share of stolen bases this year. Rice with a healthy lead off first. Guerrero holding him on his step off the line. Gausman sets. Shade now covering the field. Here's the 3-2. Just outside, ball 4. Almost an identical pitch to the one he missed on against Rice with a full count. And that's back-to-back walks for Gausman here to start the top of the second.
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster. If you walk the first guy of the inning, almost certainly, I would say, pretty close to very often he'll score. And then if you walk the first 2 guys, that is just putting yourself in a gigantic hole, especially with DJ LeMahieu coming to the plate.
LeMahieu, a guy with a lot of big hits in his career, struggling out of the gates this season after coming off the 60-day injured list from a right foot contusion. This is his 26th game. He's a .175 batter, 1 double. Gausman looking back at second at Rice, the pitch. Swing and a bouncing ball, left side, dive by Clement, it's past him into left field. Coming around third, Rice to the plate. Throw is late and offline, and that's an RBI single for LeMahieu. It's 3-0 Yankees.
Wasn't a terrible pitch from Gausman. DJ LeMahieu just able to get that barrel on it just off the end of the bat. Found that hole on the left side of the infield past the dive of Ernie Clement, but like I said, when you put yourself in a hole, you walk the first 2 guys of the inning, you're just asking for things to happen, and DJ LeMahieu makes them happen right there with that single.
8th RBI of the year for LeMahieu. Now Danny Jansen talking with Kevin Gausman, and a good time for us to let you know that the countdown is on. Just 1 week away from crowning the next 10 life-changing winners during Jays Care's Split the Pot raffle. The grand prize is now over $1.2 million, meaning 10 different winners will take home at least $120,000. Visit BlueJays.com/5050 to get your tickets from Ontario or Nova Scotia.
The pot is now $1,206,910, and that will change in the next 5 seconds.
First, though, Kevin Gausman's pitch to Trent Grisham. 2 on, nobody out. First pitch strike, 0-1. Already up to $1,206,975.
And it just changed again. There you go.
Grisham, the number 9 hitter for the Yankees, playing center field today, batting .137 on the season. 0-1. Down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
This is a big at-bat for Kevin Gausman. You do not want to put yourself in a 4-0 hole against Garrett Cole. I don't care what kind of guy Garrett Cole is today. He's still Garrett Cole. He makes good pitches, big pitches when he has to, and if you give him a 4-0 lead, you're
1-1 pitch, just below the knees. Never mind, called a strike. A break there for Gausman. It's 1-2. Faintly, you might be able to hear Aaron Boone barking from the first base dugout at home plate umpire Tom Hanahan. He did have a point on that pitch. It looked pretty low. Grisham has asked for time, takes a warm-up swing outside the box. Still talking to Tom Hanahan, the home plate ump. And now Grisham steps back in. Tap of the plate, and he looks out at Gausman, who stretches out his right arm. 6-2 righty for the Blue Jays, looking for his first out of the inning. Austin Wells on second, DJ LeMahieu on first, and Gausman steps off, turns to second base.
You know better than me, but does Aaron Boone ever look happy over there in that dugout?
Well, they were up 16-5 a couple days ago. He was sitting pretty. That's the nature of the Yankees, though. It's a high pressure situation at all times. 1-2. Swing and a line drive up the middle, down in center, a base hit. Wells had to wait, so he'll just advance to third base, but it's station to station for the Yankees, who have loaded the bases. The first 4 have reached this inning for New York, and the top of the order's coming up.
That ball was absolutely scorched by Grisham. Not a terrible pitch, a sinker down and away at 96, but he just drives that thing right back up the middle, right by the head of Kevin Gausman.
That'll prompt a mound visit from Pete Walker, the infield, and Danny Jansen congregating on the mound as well. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. When home improvement projects are throwing you a curveball, talk to the folks at Timber Mart before you begin your next job. They've got the material and know-how to make sure you have all your bases covered. Timber Mart, Canada's building center. Well, this is close to getting real serious right now for the Blue Jays, who trail 3-0. And the Yankees have the bases loaded here with nobody out. Anthony Volpe at the plate and Juan Soto on deck.
Middle of the infield's playing back, so the Blue Jays are going to give up a run for a double play here, which is the right thing to do this early in a ball game.
Corners are even with the bags. Guerrero maybe even a step in front of the first base bag. A look at second, Gausman's pitch. Volpe fouls it off to the right, 0-1. Gausman struck out Volpe to start this game on a splitter. 6 of the last 7 have reached following that strikeout. 6 of the last 8. Nobody out, bases loaded, 3-0 Yankees, top of the second. The pitch. Bounce behind home plate, foul, 0-2. Gausman does really have Volpe's number. Shortstop is 0 for 13 with 8 strikeouts against Gausman in his career. Righty sets at the belt. And the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a bouncer, foul just past the third base dugout.
And now that you're ahead 0-2 in the count, you can really expand either fastball up, maybe get a pop-up, or that split finger down, try to get a strikeout.
Oh-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on the splitter down, and that's a big strikeout for Gausman, his first out of the second.
That's a huge strikeout because, like I said, that's a big run on third base. You don't want to go in that 4-0 hole. And now Juan Soto can potentially ground out and hit into a double play here.
One out, bases are loaded still. It's 3-0 for the Yankees. First pitch to Juan Soto, misses outside, 1-0. Soto with a single in the first inning. Came around to score on the Aaron Judge home run. (1-0). Just a little bit outside.
Well, this is a tricky situation. You fall behind 2-0. The bases are loaded. I think Juan Soto knows that he probably will get a strike here. Hopefully it's a good strike.
Soto had a 3-0 green light a couple games ago and hit his 20th home run of the season. 2-0 pitch. Just outside, ball 3. Blue Jays are getting Trevor Richards loose here. Kevin Gausman up to 43 pitches with 1 out in the second and 3 runs allowed.
And it's not really the stuff. That last fastball from Kevin Gausman was 96 miles an hour. It's more so the location than anything else.
The kick and the 3-0. Ball 4. And it's 4-0 Yankees. Bases loaded walk is an RBI for Soto.
You just have to throw strike one. I think that's the biggest thing. We talked about this in the pregame. You have to throw strike one, and then you can expand. Kevin Gausman is just continuously getting himself in a hole, throwing ball one, ball two, and then to Juan Soto there, 4 balls in a row.
Here's Aaron Judge, who homered in the first. First pitch. Fastball in there, strike one. By the way, we mentioned Richards in the Blue Jay pen. If you look over at the Yankee pen, there's action there too. The lefty Josh Maciejewski is getting loose, and you wonder what that means for the start today of Garrett Cole. Next pitch to Judge. Called strike two. Splitter right at the knees.
It doesn't look like Maciejewski is in any kind of a hurry out there, so I'm not sure what he's doing and what the Yankees are doing.
Judge is going to ask for time and take a warm-up swing out of the box. He asks a question of Tom Hanahan and steps back in. 2 runs this inning for the Yankees. They're up 4-0 with the bases loaded and only 1 out in the top of the second. The 0-2. Bounced it to the plate, blocked by Jansen.
I actually don't think Maciejewski was warming up. He was doing some sort of drill. He just gave whoever he was throwing with a high five and sat down.
He was tossing of some sort, but yeah, you could be right. He was just called up today. Phil Bickford designated for assignment by the Yankees. Turn and look at second by Gausman. Does not throw back over there where Trent Grisham is standing. It's DJ LeMahieu on third, Grisham on second, Juan Soto on first. 4-0 the Yankees lead. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on the splitter, and they're now 2 down.
Big strikeout right there. A big pitch. Looked like a strike out of the hands and then just dipped below that strike zone. Aaron Judge out in front of it, but you're not out of the woods yet. Alex Verdugo coming to the plate.
Yankees had a run in this inning when the top of the order came up. They've scored 1 more since. Pitch to Alex Verdugo outside, 1-0. It's really the left-handed hitters that this inning, for the most part, have given Gausman trouble. Walked 2 lefty swingers to start the inning, gave up a single to Grisham, and walked Soto. Also did give up a hit to right-handed hitter DJ LeMahieu. 1-0 to Verdugo, who swings from the left side, and he lifts it to shallow left. Varsho waving his arms in the air, makes the catch, and ends the inning. The Yankees, though, add 2 onto their lead on 2 hits and 3 walks. They leave the bases loaded, but lead 4-0, middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
We're 2menintruck.ca. We've got lots of men and lots of trucks, so get ready to be moved.
Think 2menintruck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2menintruck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2menintruck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior Jays, and with all kinds of cool new games and activities in the exciting outfield district areas, there's no end to the family fun you'll have.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Hey, this is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
of the second inning. 4-0 Yankees over Blue Jays. George Springer leading off against Garrett Cole. Takes strike one. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Cole winds in his next pitch to Springer. Awkward swing and a miss. Went around late on a 94-mile-per-hour fastball, 0-2. Former teammates with the Astros in 2018 and 2019. Right on right, the pitch. Down and away. Ball one. Wind's really picking up here at Rogers Center. It's blowing out toward left field. 1-2. Swing and a liner off the end of the bat, headed to center field. That's down for a hit. The red-hot George Springer just keeps on going. He has the second Blue Jays hit today.
Yeah, I don't think early on in this season you would have seen a base hit like that. George Springer takes that fastball on the outside part of the plate. Actually, might have been a cutter, and he kind of just fillets it into the no man's land out there in center field. But like I said, you would not have seen that type of approach early on in this season from George Springer.
90 miles an hour. The pitch tracking does list that as a four-seamer. They can get those wrong, and he just delivered a fastball at 95, high to Varsho, 1-0. But the velocity, again, really not where you expect it to be for Garrett Cole. Blue Jays, though, in a 4-0 hole. 1-0 pitch to Dalton Varsho. Fastball at 95, called strike one.
Hey, I told you, when I grabbed his left arm, he said that his elbow felt great. So I trust him.
Maybe he'll start throwing left. From the stretch, the 1-1. Upstairs at 91. That one listed as a cutter. 2 balls and 1 strike. It's not that literally everything that Garrett Cole does is predicated on having 97, but it certainly helps. Here's his 2-1. It's high ball 3. That one 96. Varsho asked for time. Cole takes a walk off the back of the hill and steps back on the rubber. Springer leading off at first beside Ben Rice, the first baseman, holding him on for the Yankees. Cole steps on and immediately steps off, resetting the clock. Varsho takes a second 2, taps the plate. And now home plate umpire Tom Hanahan is out from behind the plate. Time was called. A couple stoppages in between the last 2 pitches, and now we're ready to go for a 3-1. Runner on first, nobody out, 4-0 Yankees. Bottom of the second, 3-1 to Varsho. Swing and a fly ball hit into the seats, left side. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
And that fastball right there is his hardest fastball of the day at 97 miles an hour. Must be tough if you're Garrett Cole. You're under this incredible microscope right now. Everybody in that organization analyzing every single movement that you make.
Coming off a Cy Young season where he was clearly the best in the American League. 3-2 pitch fouled back off the glove of Wells into the netting. Cole won the Cy Young last year with all 30 first-place votes. He was the 20th ever unanimous Cy Young and 8th in American League history. He had come very close a couple times prior, but finally got the award last year. 3-2. Swing and a bouncer off to the right, foul. That was a cutter down and in at 90 miles an hour.
Well, he was second in 2018, right, to Justin Verlander?
2019
Sorry,
he was
2019.
second, but 18 he was top 5. He had a top 5 finish with the Pirates as well back in 2015. 3-2. Foul tipped into the glove. Strike 3. 96 at the top of the zone. Beats Varsho. 1 out.
Yeah, those last few pitches were probably as close to vintage Garrett Cole as we've seen over the last 3 starts. A few tough fastballs.
People around the Yankees have to be happy to see him pick up a strikeout. He did not strike out a batter in his start against the Mets. It was only the second game of his career that he has not struck anyone out. Throw over to first. Springer back in with a dive. Danny Jansen steps to the plate with the Blue Jays down 4-0. Springer on first, 1 out. Cole's pitch. Fastball on the outside edge, strike 1. Jansen hitting .231 this year, 13 doubles, 5 homers. He's looking out at Cole, who's come set at the chest. A peek at first in the 0-1. And it hit him. Hit him and on the hand, and then it looked like it bounced and hit Wells on the top of the toe. Jansen's all right. He's jogging down to first. Wells is way behind home plate, walking over the Blue Jays logo outside of the dirt circle.
Yeah, it seemed like Danny Jansen might have got hit on that elbow pad. I don't know if it got him on the forearm. Or sorry, he doesn't even wear an elbow pad, but it might have got him on that hand pad that he wears.
I believe it did. Hit the backside of his left hand where he does have that protector, so he was all right. It was actually Wells who was worse for wear. First and second now for the Blue Jays. 1 out. Bottom of the second, here's Ernie Clement. Cole peeks at Springer at second. A long look out at him, and the pitch. Clement fouls it back, 0-1. Started him out with the slider, and it's no secret. Ernie Clement loves hitting fastballs. It's a .290 hitter this year with 10 extra base hits on fastballs. Gray skies in Toronto. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Beat him with 96 there on the outside edge. 0-2.
The roof is actually starting to close now here in Toronto.
Yeah, you can see it moving over the left side of the ballpark. Haven't seen if there's rain coming up in the forecast or not, but generally a bit of a chilly day. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He goes around on the fastball, 2 down.
Next batter, number 39, Kevin Kiermaier.
That's 8-year-old Kaysen from Pickering, our future announcer, presented by Rogers. Welcome to Rogers Center, Kaysen. He announces up Kevin Kiermaier, who's batting with 2 on and 2 out. 4-0 Yankees, bottom of the second. A look at Springer at second. Cole's pitch is fouled back by Kiermaier, 0-1. Back-to-back starts for Kevin Kiermaier, who went 0 for 4 yesterday. Batting .196 on the season. He's driven in 12. Has 8 extra base hits. They play him to the pull. Lots of space on the left side of the infield. 0-1. Outside. Cole nodding toward the catcher. Wells sets at the chest. His 1-1. Swing and a miss. Kiermaier out in front of the knuckle curve at 84. It's 1-2.
That thing was nasty, wasn't it? 84 miles an hour. Kevin Kiermaier way out in front of it. Swings over the top of it. That's one of those vintage Garrett Cole curveballs.
2 strikeouts this inning for Cole, around a hit and a hit batter. The righty rocks and delivers. Check swing. Pitch was high. Appeal to third. He did not go around, says DJ Rayburn. So by a fraction, Kevin Kiermaier stays alive, 2-2. That pitch was 97, barely above the strike zone. Wells is going to ask for time. Doesn't walk out to the mound, but that's going to count as a disengagement. Cole is confirming that. It will count as a disengagement against the pitcher and catcher, and now Cole back on the rubber. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners on first and second. Right on left, the pitch to Kiermaier. Swing and a foul back into the netting. Reaches out for 97 on the outside edge. A good job to spoil a pretty good pitch.
He's all of a sudden looked like vintage Garrett Cole. 96, 97, good breaking ball. So strange. I don't understand Garrett Cole, but he's found another gear all of a sudden.
His 2-2 once more. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got Kiermaier on the breaking ball, 3 strikeouts in the inning. He strands the hit and the hit batter and keeps it 4-0 Yankees after 2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Kirk smacks it down the left field line. This one's got a chance. It's good!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in North Bay and Thunder Bay. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. Thanks so much for joining us on your Sunday. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 4-0, the Yankees lead the Blue Jays. Kevin Gausman trying to settle down here as he pitches to Gleyber Torres to start the third. Here's the pitch. Fastball in there, strike 1. The righty Gausman's given up 2 in the first and 2 in the second. His 0-1. Bounce to the plate. Prior to this game, he had only given up 3 or more once in his last 9 starts against the Yankees, and that was that odd day early in the season when he was high 80s with the fastball, but he had gone 8 of 9 starts against New York with 2 or fewer. But that not kept going today. 1-1. Swing and a hard line drive hooking toward the corner, and one hops into the wall for Torres. He's around first, headed into second. Throw comes from Varsho, and it's over the head of Horwitz. Didn't have a play anyway. It's a stand-up double for Torres to lead off the third.
Well, when I look at the box score, it's not so much that the base hits that would be bothersome to me if I was Pete Walker or Kevin Gausman. It's those 3 walks, specifically those 2 walks last inning that led to those 2 runs.
One of them went to Ben Rice, who led off the last inning, walked and scored. He's up now for the second time today. Rice will take his walks. He's been aboard in 9 of 12 games as a major leaguer so far. Took his 5th walk of the season yesterday. Or pardon me, last at bat. Right on left the pitch. Fouled back into the netting. 0-1. Rice is a tall left-handed batter, hiked up his gray pants, exposing the dark socks, wears a dark undershirt under his jersey as well. 0-1. Swing and a fly ball hit a mile high to left field. Dalton Varsho coming in, makes the catch. There's one out. That'll bring Austin Wells up to the plate. Runner on second, 4-0 Yankees in the top of the third. Wells was the other guy who got walked back-to-back to start last inning. Both were 3-2 walks by Gausman. Righty stretches his arms out above his head, steps onto the rubber, adjusts the brim, then the back of his cap, looks at second, and the pitch to Wells. Outside, ball one.
I think that's the most frustrating thing when you look at the guys that he's walked. He's walked Ben Rice, he's walked Austin Wells. If I were Kevin Gausman, I'd probably rather walk Juan Soto and Aaron Judge.
Walked Soto with the bases loaded in the second, 1-0. Fouled back 1-1.
Well, maybe not with the bases loaded.
Yeah.
But you get my point.
No, I get what you mean. I mean, that first inning, Soto single, Judge homer, that's happened to a million guys this year. That is how the Yankees win a lot of their games. But, yeah, you're right. You get to that bottom half of the order, you really don't want to mess around and let those guys beat you. 1-1. Off the end of the bat, foul off to the left, 1-2. And even tougher on a day where Garrett Cole is starting to look like he might be regaining some of that velocity that we didn't see the last two starts.
Yeah, specifically those last three batters that he just faced in that second inning. The fastball was up, that curveball was sharp.
1-2. Swinging another looping foul ball into the seats.
But you have to look at Garrett Cole's pitch count. I'm not sure what they're going to let him throw today, but he's already at 37 pitches through 2 innings. Maybe 2 or 3 more innings max.
Cole threw 4 innings in his last start through 72 pitches. 1-2. Bounce to the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. This has been a Yankee pen that has struggled over the recent couple weeks and struggled in this series. So if you can get to them earlier, everyone that's going to help, but especially right now with the Yankees, that's really going to help the Blue Jays out. They're trailing 4-0, 1 out top of the third. Gleyber Torres on second, IKF playing behind him, 2-2. Misses outside with a fastball. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Same count that Gausman walked Wells on in the second. A look at second base. Now the payoff pitch. Swing and a fly ball again off the handle into the seats.
One thing I'm noticing with Kevin Gausman today is against left-handed. You kind of alluded to it earlier, but against left-handed hitters, a lot of arm side misses with that fastball. A lot. And you saw Danny Jansen on that last pitch try to get in and maybe sneak a fastball on the inside part of the plate.
Swing and a miss on a fastball on the outer edge. That one works for Gausman. That's his 4th strikeout of the day, 2 outs.
That might have been his best fastball of the day right there. They tried to go outside, hit that outside part of the plate, and he did. That's probably his first time hitting Danny Jansen's glove today on the outside part of the plate to a lefty.
Now he gets to go right on right with DJ LeMahieu, who rolled a single through the 5-6 hole in the second. Runner on second, 2 outs. Gausman's pitch. Hit on a line, a 1-hopper to second, picked up by Horwitz chest high. Throws over to first, and that's the inning. The first scoreless frame of the day for Gausman strands the leadoff double by Torres, and the Blue Jays will try and get some momentum here. 4-0 Yankees, middle of the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rush Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
FSGA Draft Week on Fantasy Sports Radio.
Touchdown, Travis Kelce!
The brightest minds in the fantasy industry are drafting against each other in specialized fantasy football drafts. The Champions League Fantasy Football Draft, the Futures and Prop Bets Draft, the Fantasy Football National League Draft, the one-of-its-kind in-game betting draft, the Best Ball Fantasy Football Draft. Hear winning strategies and unique drafts you won't hear anywhere else. Just search Fantasy Drafts on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Busted Open podcast is now available on YouTube. This is Dave LaGreca, host of Busted Open, the #1 pro wrestling show on the planet. You can now watch and listen to the award-winning Busted Open podcast every single day on YouTube. Our best interviews, behind-the-scenes access, and some of our best content from the past. All available right now when you go to youtube.com/@Busted Open Podcast. Subscribe right now.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on Sirius XM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2:30 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Ally 400 from Nashville Superspeedway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the Sirius XM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yes.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Bottom of the third inning in Toronto. Roof continues to close at Rogers Center, but we can still see the sky for now as the Blue Jays try to come back from down 4-0 to the Yankees. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa leading off for Toronto. Takes the first pitch high from Garrett Cole. 1-0. Right-hander quickly into the wind. The pitch. Misses down and away. 2 balls, no strikes.
And Aaron Boone was again yelling at Tom Hanahan. I think he's just backing up Garrett Cole because Garrett Cole was shaking his head after that call.
2-0 pitch hit foul. IKF stumbles over the plate. It's 2-1. Both of the first 2 pitches did appear out of the zone per the strike box at least. Kiner-Falefa, the former teammate of Cole and player for Boone. Back in the box, open stance. The 2-1. Fastball down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kiner-Falefa bounced out to short back in the first inning. He's 0 for 1. Faces a 2-2 pitch. Check swing liner foul. Tried to hold his hands back on 98 above the zone, but just tipped it off the backstop, and it rolls all the way toward first, where Ben Rice picks it up and rolls it back off the diamond.
Well, you can almost guarantee that Garrett Cole tried to throw that one hard because as soon as he let go of that pitch, he peeked behind him and look at the radar gun, 98 miles an hour.
2-2. Swing and a foul ball off to the right. This is looking a lot more like vintage Cole. We've said it a couple times, but in his last start, as Chris mentioned earlier, second inning, velocity way down. That's not the case today. 2-2. And he misses upstairs at 98 here in the third. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Cole winds. Here's the 8th pitch of the plate appearance. Swing and a pop-up near short. Volpe calling off the third baseman. LeMahieu makes a one-handed catch. 1 out.
Well, I think the most impressive thing about this outing so far is he's thrown 45 pitches, 30 strikes, no walks. In his last outing, he had 4 walks against the New York Mets.
Cole has really been attacking the Blue Jays hitters with the exception of the hit by pitch to Danny Jansen. He's been in control all game. First pitch to Spencer Horwitz on the outside edge. Strike 1. Right on left, the 0-1. Just a little bit outside at 96. Obviously, the Yankees want Cole to get back on track, but it'd be big for him personally as well, as this is an interesting year in his career. This is a potential opt-out year for Cole. 1-1. Swing and a foul back. 1-2. Cole signed with the Yankees in 2020 or just before it for 9 seasons. A $324 million contract, but he could opt out and become a free agent after this season if he wants, leaving 4 years, all worth $36 million apiece on the table. Now, the Yankees do have an interesting mechanism. If Cole opts out, they can agree to add another year worth $36 million and then keep him for sure, void his opt-out, but there are questions whether they do that. 1-2. Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, I think before this season and before he got injured, there probably wasn't any questions. But now that he has had that elbow injury,
well, you want to try and sign Juan Soto. I'm not sure it was a for sure thing either way. But you make a good point. 2-2 pitch, swing and a bouncer foul.
But I do know that that Garrett Cole, who is from California, now I think primarily lives in Connecticut in the offseason as well as during the season. So he's a guy that's pretty entrenched in the New York area, I guess.
His dad is a native of Syracuse, grew up a Yankee fan. 2-2. Fouled off to the left. But he's made some tough decisions on them before. The Yankees actually drafted Garrett Cole out of high school in Orange, California, 28th overall, and he did not sign. Ended up going to UCLA. 2-2. Or with 6 high and outside, full count.
Well, if there's one guy that I would I could see turning down a first-round offer, it's probably Garrett Cole. Rolled the dice and
worked out pretty well.
He did okay.
Went first overall a few years later. 3-2 to Horwitz. High and outside, ball 4, and Spencer Horwitz works a walk here on 7 pitches to make it 8 pitches to get aboard with 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd. We had mentioned in the top half of the inning the pitch count of Cole. The catcher, Austin Wells, is going to go out and talk to his starter, who's now on 53 pitches after throwing 8 to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa to start this inning and 8 more to Spencer Horwitz. Wells going over the potential game plan here for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's 1 for 1 today, a single in the first. Tom Hanahan breaks up the meeting, and Wells coming back to the plate.
What a great at-bat from Spencer Horwitz. Just a guy that routinely puts up great at-bats, takes tough pitches against one of the best guys in all of the American League. Spencer Horwitz, again, showing just how good he is up there. Such a good approach.
He's on first in the pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Fastball for a called strike. Vlad is 11 for 32 career against Garrett Cole, a .344 average, 2 homers. Next pitch, checks his swing, and some yelling right there. I think that was a mix of Cole and the first base dugout. That one did look pretty good. It was called a ball.
Well, I can tell you exactly what Garrett Cole just said. I heard it very clearly.
1-1. Down and away. Definitely a ball there. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Where is that pitch? Darn it, Tom. That's exactly what he just said.
Probably the other complaints this inning unwarranted by Cole, but that one did have some decent evidence. 2-1. Pitch at the knees for called strike 2. Guerrero bounces the barrel off his foot, stretches his arms out from his chest, and now brings the bat above his right shoulder. With 1 out, the 2-2 pitch. And he hit him. Guerrero shaking out his right hand and skipping away from the plate. That one got away from Cole at 97, and immediately the training staff coming over. Jose Ministral is looking at Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
And that got him in that right hand where there's no protection. He has a guard on his left hand covering the top of his left hand, but there is no protection on that right one, and he's flexing it and walking around.
So a sudden loss of control for Cole, who has walked a batter and now hit a batter here in the 3rd. They continue to check on Guerrero. That was the 4-seam fastball. Ran up near the head of Vlad and hit him on that back right hand. Like you said, no protection, just batting gloves.
I think it actually got his left shoulder first, like the deltoid area, and then deflected off into those right fingers. Garrett Cole's kind of crouched down behind the mound out there. Austin Wells slowly walking out towards him.
They continue to look at Vlad. Jose Ministral, head athletic trainer, and John Schneider. Guerrero's taking that batting glove off of his right hand right now. Slowly sliding it off to show his bare hand now to Ministral. They're inspecting, I believe, his ring finger on his right hand.
You can see that hand shaking. That's never a good sign. I'm sure it's pretty painful right now.
Hushed tones here at Rogers Center as they wait to see what happens with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's been as hot as anyone for the Blue Jays recently.
I can only imagine that the fact that it deflected off that left arm maybe slowed it down a bit.
I'm not sure that it hit much more than Jersey, though, to be honest. It was on the slow-mo replay.
I'm just reaching for straws right now.
Guerrero right now still getting looked at by Jose Menestral. He's going to toss away his shin guard. Picks up his helmet and puts it back on. Vlad's going to stay in this ball game. Big news for the Blue Jays. The fans respond accordingly. So Guerrero will jog down to first base. And up to second base is Spencer Horwitz with only one out here in the bottom of the third. Second inning in a row that the Blue Jays have put 2 on with only one out. Now they try to cash in, down 4-0. Here's Justin Turner kicking away some dirt in front of the box. Turner was 1 for 3 yesterday, a double, a run scored, also a walk. He has a hit and a walk in each of his last 6 games.
And Vlad was actually just talking to first base coach Gil Kim, and he was pointing at his pinky and that ring finger like you talked about. So hopefully he's okay out there.
He's taken his lead off first. It's Spencer Horwitz at second, 1 out. Turner 0 for 1 with a line out today. The pitch from Cole. Fastball down the middle, strike 1. Some dueling Let's Go Blue Jays and Let's Go Yankees chants here at Rogers Center. Last of the 4-game series. Blue Jays have taken 2 of 3. The 0-1. Bounce to the plate. That was the 60th pitch of the day for Garrett Cole.
Nobody really moving around out there in that Yankees bullpen, but I would imagine that in the next 5 or 6 pitches, I'm sure there'll be some guys stretching out there.
If you weren't with us earlier, 72 pitches for Cole in his last start. I'll look at second, the 1-1. Fouled back by Turner. High middle fastball at 96, sent into the seats, 1-2. Turner, a .233 hitter with runners in scoring position this year. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a liner up the middle of base hit into center field. Horwitz getting the wave around third. Here comes the throw from Grisham. It bounces in late. It's an RBI single for Justin Turner. The Blue Jays are on the board. 4-1, Yankees lead.
Well, that was just mislocation from Garrett Cole. He was ahead in the count, 1-2, and he just threw a fastball right down the middle. Justin Turner doing such a good job hitting that ball back up the middle. What a professional hitter he is. Spencer Horwitz comes around to score.
Hit it so straight up the middle, he almost hit Cole on the mound, just went to the left of the hurler. And now the Blue Jays have had 3 straight batters reach. It's Guerrero at second now, Turner at first. 4-1 the Yankees lead, and the pitch to George Springer. Swing and a soft bouncer to short. Picked up by Volpe. Underhand flip to second, 1. Over to first. Double play. That will end the bottom of the third inning. The Blue Jays get 1-on-1 hit. They leave 1 on. It's 4-1 New York after 3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM.
Let's go, man!
We're back on the track Sunday,
2:30 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Ally 400 from Nashville Superspeedway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah!
SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yes!
Every
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
The final major championship of 2024 is coming, and you can hear all the action on SiriusXM.
Up toward the hole, has a chance, and it goes! Rory McIlroy with an overhand fist bump.
Coverage of the 152nd Open Championship begins Monday, July 15th, with play-by-play beginning Thursday, July 18th on Open Radio.
He's holding the big one. Brian Harman is the champion golfer of the year.
Hear the 2024 Open Championship on Channel 92 when you're in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the fourth inning presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thanks so much for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. 4-1, the Yankees lead the Blue Jays. Toronto just got on the board for the first time. And now Kevin Gausman back on the mound, trying to keep the deficit at 3. Trent Grisham, the leadoff hitter for the Yankees. Gausman kicks and fires. Fastball at the knees, strike 1. Grisham batting from the left side, came up with a single in the second inning. 0-1. It's a bunt popped up and down foul on the third base side. 0-2. Blue Jays were playing way off the third baseline with the shift on Grisham, trying to surprise them. You figure now with an 0-2 count, he'll go back to hitting normally. Grisham bouncing the barrel off his foot twice. Waiting to step into the box, looking out at Gausman. Now he stalks back in and taps the plate 2 times. Holds the bat, pointed up toward the sky with one hand, and now grips it with both. Here's the 0-2. In the dirt, ball 1. We were waiting to see if Vladimir Guerrero Jr. would come out for this inning defensively after being hit on the hand by a 97-mile-per-hour fastball in the third, but he is out there playing first. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Got Grisham down to a knee on the splitter. He strikes him out to start the top of the fourth.
Yeah, that's a good sign that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. came out for this inning. I think it's probably easier for him to play because he doesn't use that pinky finger to throw the baseball or catch the baseball. I mean, I don't know how painful it is for him right now, but I'm assuming that's the only reason why he's out in this fourth inning.
Here's the pitch to the top of the order. Anthony Volpe takes inside, ball 1. Guerrero playing way off the line at first. In at third is Ernie Clement, even with the bag. Middle infield back and fairly straight up against the right-handed hitter. Here's the 1-0. Fastball called strike. Gausman bouncing on his front left foot. The 1-1. Low. Through the splitter again. 2 balls and 1 strike. Morristown, New Jersey's Anthony Volpe, playing in his second season with the Yankees. A Gold Glover last year as a rookie. 2-1 pitch. Volpe takes inside. Not only did he grow up close to Manhattan and close to the Bronx, where the Yankees play, but he was born at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York, just 15 minutes from Yankee Stadium. 3-1 pitch, cut on and missed. Full count.
We talked about this early on in the season. I think we even talked about it in spring training, but Can you imagine how pumped his high school friends are?
Oh, my gosh. Well, you know one of his high school friends is? Jack Leiter. He played at Del Barton High School with Volpe. But, yeah, they get the New York guys who, you know, they all grew up watching Jeter. Now he's in that spot. Or New Jersey guys. 3-2. Swing and a liner foul off to the right. Bouncing off the front, facing in the second deck and down into the 100 level. Volpe last year was the youngest Yankee to start at shortstop since Jeter in 1995. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him on a fastball over the heart of the plate. That's back-to-back strikeouts for Gausman. 2 down here in the top of the 4th.
That's a huge out. A huge strikeout right there for Kevin Gausman, especially with the 2 guys coming up behind him.
Juan Soto bats now with 2 outs and the bases empty. 4-1 Yankees, top of the 4th. After 2 runs allowed in each of the first 2 innings, Gausman trying to put together back-to-back scoreless frames. Right on left, the pitch. Big hack by Soto. He swings and misses at 95, top of the zone. 0-1.
Little smirk on his face, nodding his head. You know exactly what he was trying to do with that swing.
Hands looking all right.
That's why he's in the lineup.
Here's the 0-1. Jumps out of the way. Pitch missed low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Soto's made a big impact today. Singled and scored in the first. Walked with the bases loaded in the second for his 61st RBI of the season. 1-1. Low 2-1. Imagine having 61 RBIs in 86 games and being 21 RBIs off the pace for leading your team. Aaron Judge on deck has 82. The 2-1. Swing and a miss. Threw a splitter a little bit higher in the zone. Got Soto out in front. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Juan Soto will ask for time. Fans getting loud. Gausman has struck out both batters he's faced this inning and 3 of the last 4. 4-1 Yankees. Top of the 4th inning with the bases empty. Soto steps back in. Gausman flips the ball out of his glove, catches it in his bare hand, and steps back on the rubber. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a pop-up, foul back behind the plate, and 2 booths off to our left. Goes right in there. Just misses us, just misses the WFAN broadcast booth off to our left, where the Yankees radio guys are broadcasting right now.
I think Gausman got away with one right there. That was a fastball, almost right down the middle.
2-2 again. Fastball, or make it the splitter, called low at the knees. And now some barking coming from the Blue Jays side at Tom Hanahan, as there was some in the last half inning from the Yankees side, as that one appeared to clip the bottom of the strike box on the splitter by Gausman. 3-2. Swing and a foul tip. Soto sends it back off of the protection of Danny Jansen, and it's still 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, normally I would probably want to throw an elevated heater here, but in that first inning, in that first at-bat, Kevin Gausman threw the elevated heater, and Juan Soto was right on it.
3-2 again. Downstairs, ball 4.
And you can hear Kevin Gausman still barking at Tom Hanahan, saying that's a strike all day. And he's not wrong. That has been a strike all day long.
It's especially tough when it's Soto, who's already not going to expand at all. And now Aaron Judge coming up to the plate because of that call. Soto on first with 2 outs after the walk. Judge today has a 2-run homer and a strikeout swinging. The pitch. Inside, ball 1.
That last fastball was 97.
Hardest we've seen today from the righty Gausman, who's at 84 pitches here with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. The 1-0. Check swing, pitch inside again, 2-0. 6'7" DH Judge looking out at Kevin Gausman, who kicks and fires home. And he hit him on the back. Fastball ran inside there. Aaron Judge will head down to first base. Juan Soto up to second. And now the Yankees threatening here with 2 outs in the top of the fourth.
And Kevin Gausman was just trying to throw fastballs inside. Aaron Judge, such a big guy, loves to get the hands extended. And he just missed on the inside part of the plate there. No intent there, at least I don't think.
I don't think it's the situation you would do that in the game, nor the time in the count where you would do that. Typically, if you're going to send a message, you just do it on the first pitch. So, Judge down to first, Soto up to second. Here's Alex Verdugo with 2 outs. 4-1 Yankees, the pitch. In there, called strike 1. Verdugo flied out in the first and did the same in the second, both to left field. A look at Soto. And Gausman turns and throws to second. Soto back with a dive. Soto chuckling with Kiner Falefa. They were not teammates, of course, as IKF just left the Yankees the year Soto joined. 0-1. Swing and a foul back into the netting. 0-2. Verdugo walking around outside the lefty box. Steps back in. He stands right at the back of that box and taps the plate twice. And now a pitch clock violation, and Alex Verdugo is struck out. So that's the 7th strikeout on the day for Kevin Gausman. He strikes out 3 in the inning technically, strands the walk and the hit batter, and that's it for the top of the 4th. 4-1. The Yankees lead the Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
When Blue Jays starter Kevin Gausman is on the mound, you hear a lot of pops at Rogers Center. The pop of the ball hitting the catcher's mitt. The pop of the crowd as they cheer on another Gausman strikeout. But most importantly for Goss, the pop of his bubble gum.
Swing and a miss. Got him on the splitter again. One of the best at his craft.
Gausman loves his gum. So be one of the first 15,000 fans on Wednesday, July 3rd and get your Kevin Gausman bubblegum bobblehead. Get your tickets at BlueJays.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. He keeps this game tied
on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 4th inning, Dalton Varsho leading off for the Blue Jays. 4-1 the Yankees lead. Garrett Cole's pitch. Varsho shows bunt, pulls back. 1-0. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host, Nick Blackmore our producer, Michael Jose Collins, and Tom Young our technical directors. Next pitch, cut on and missed, 1-1. Varsho with a strikeout today and 1 at-bat. Faces a 1-1 from Cole. Foul tipped into the glove, 1-2. If you look over the last year and change, Garrett Cole's good against everyone, but he's actually even tougher on lefties typically than he is on right-handed swingers. 1-2. And Varsho strikes out on a back foot slider at 90 miles an hour. 1 down.
Well, that's one of the reasons right there why he's so good. He has that good back foot slider. But another reason why I love watching Garrett Cole pitch is because he's not afraid to come inside. Righties, lefties, it doesn't matter. He's so good at coming inside, and he's not afraid to hit you. That's one of the most important things to having success.
First pitch to Danny Jansen, called strike one. He hit Jansen with a pitch in the second. 4-1 Yankees, 1 out, the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a hot shot fly ball center field. Going back, Grisham at the track. He runs it down. 2 outs. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in '92. Join them for wings, ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every play at your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. One final today already. The Pittsburgh Pirates beating the Atlanta Braves 4-2. Ernie Clement fouls off the first pitch into the stands, 0-1. Brian Reynolds did lose his Major League best 25-game hit streak today. But the Buccos came up with a 4-run fifth to win the game. 0-1. Clement takes down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2-run shots from O'Neill Cruz and Rowdy Tellez helped Pittsburgh win that one. Out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Next pitch from Cole. Clement hits it off the handle. A soft liner foul down the right field line. 1-2. You mentioned the home run derby a couple times, Chris. O'Neill Cruz, that's a guy I want to see in the home run derby.
I want to see Vlad in the home run derby.
Well, I told you yesterday you're not going to see him. 1-2. Check swing, appeal down to first, no swing on the pitch down and away. Yankees were ready to get back to the bats. All 9 of them will walk back into position. Verdugo has his hands to his sides in left field like he could see the check swing from 300 feet away. 2-2 pitch fouled back, still 2-2.
Well, I'm assuming Verdugo is still not happy about what happened in the previous inning.
Struck out on a pitch clock violation to end the top of the 4th. We're here in the bottom of the 4th. 2 outs and the bases empty. 4-1 Yankees. 2-2 to Clement. Swing and a fly ball. Hit softly to right. Juan Soto camped under it. Moves toward the foul line. Makes the catch. And ends the inning. A 1-2-3 for Garrett Cole. We go to the 5th. It's 4-1 New York. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Mark 30 years of one of rap's greatest albums. And go deep into the musical world of the notorious B.I.G. on a channel featuring all his legendary rhymes. And stories from those who knew him best.
Whether it was party joints or songs about his life and times in Brooklyn.
Notorious Radio, throughout Black Music Month and the SiriusXM app. And now, for a limited time, on Channel 79.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, original specials, and much, much, much more. All baseball, every day, on your radio. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Blue Jays fans, your manager, Sean Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Hopefully you get a couple guys going at the same time, and we're just looking for consistency. It's been tough, it's been frustrating at times, but also feel good about the progress that certain guys have made and that the progress that we've made in terms of, our prep and our work.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89 and the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
It's the 5th inning, brought to you by Desjardins Financial Group. Desjardins awarded another 150 grants worth $20,000 each to entrepreneurs across Canada. See how Desjardins cheered on small biz at goodsparkgrants.ca. Top of the fifth starts with a pitch to Gleyber Torres. Kevin Gausman misses outside, 1-0. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. We're here in the Timbermart broadcast booth. Gausman sets. Here's his 90th pitch of the day. Fouled back into the screen. A fastball on the outside edge to even up the count at 1-1. No one throwing yet for the Blue Jays in the pen. You imagine it can't be too long, though, with Gausman now about to throw his 91st. Here's the 1-1. Hit hard through the hole on the right side. A base hit. 2 for 3 day for Gleyber Torres.
And right on cue, Genesis Cabrera starts throwing.
Lefty Cabrera getting loose now with nobody out in the fifth. Here's a left-handed hitter for the Yankees, Ben Rice. Torres on first. Rice today 0 for 1 with a walk, a run scored, and a flyout. The pitch. Called strike one. Late call there by Tom Hanahan, and frankly, Gausman gets a break on a pitch that looked a bit outside.
I think Tom Hanahan is having a tough day. Whether you're a Blue Jays fan or a Yankees fan, I think he's having a rough one.
The 0-1. Bounces low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Regardless of Tom Hanahan, I'd love to do an experiment, though. You pick a random 80s game, put a strike box in. I have no idea how it would work.
Oh, it wouldn't be good. There's no way.
So I'm just wondering. 1-1. Down and away, 2-1.
Who was umpiring that one Marlins game? Was it Levon Hernandez that was throwing?
Yeah, I don't remember who was umping, but that was a tough one. That's kind of like the famous game.
Yeah.
Two-1 pitch. Swing and a fly ball over our heads into the 500 level seats back behind the plate. 2-2. While there is action in the Blue Jay pen, no one up and throwing in the Yankee pen as Garrett Cole has gone through 4 innings. Gausman's 2-2. Just a hair low. Full count.
I'm almost certain that when Garrett Cole goes out for that 5th inning that someone will start at least soft tossing out there in that Yankees bullpen.
Cole is at 75 pitches right now, which is the most he's thrown this season. Gausman at 96. Runner on first, the 3-2. Low ball 4. That's the 5th walk today for Kevin Gausman. And now 2 on with nobody out here to start the 5th.
Not a bad pitch right there. I like the pitch choice. It's just the location. Again, it might look like a ball out of the hand, and Ben Rice has shown that he has such a good eye at the plate already in his young career. With nobody out there, I tend to just throw a fastball down in the zone and let Ben Rice ground out.
Gausman went with the splitter and missed, and now has to work out of trouble. Austin Wells is up. A walk and a strikeout today. A look at second, and the pitch home. Wells beats it foul back into the screen, 0-1. The kick in the 0-1. Hit high to shallow left center. Varsho and Kiermaier converging. Dalton Varsho will step in front of Kevin Kiermaier and make the catch. Runners hold at first and second. There's the first out of the frame for Kevin Gausman.
It's a big out right there. Good pitch. Fastball in on the hands of Austin Wells. He just pops it up to left field. Here's a question. Do you think Austin Wells' eye black is useless now because the roof is closed?
It was potentially useless when the day started given the cloud cover, but I understand if it's an everyday thing, maybe you just keep it going. I think there's like some mixed science over whether Iblack does anything on any given day, to be fair.
I've always been skeptical, yes.
First and second for the Yankees, 1 out, 4-1. They lead in the top of the fifth. DJ LeMahieu up. The pitch from Kevin Gausman is high. No, it's called strike one. That is a tough one if you're DJ LeMahieu. That was certainly not a strike, but Gausman gets ahead.
Well, DJ LeMahieu tilting his head, playing with the dirt. Very clearly doesn't agree with that call. And then at the end of all that, he starts shaking his head.
He's a pretty mild-mannered guy.
Yeah.
Here's the 0-1 in the dirt. New baseball for Gausman gives us a sec to go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Tampa Bay Rays up 4-0 on the Washington Nationals in the sixth. Boston Red Sox up 4-0 on the San Diego Padres, also in the sixth. 1-1 pitch. LeMahieu foul tips it into the glove of Jansen. It's 1-2. Gausman had 102 pitches. Now tied for the third most he's thrown in a game this year. He has gone up to 112. Long stare at second. And the 1-2. Swing and a fly ball slicing into the seats down the right field line. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Gausman entered this inning at 88 pitches. Gave up a single, then a walk, then got a fly out. So it's first and second and 1 down. He'll go with the inside move and twist back to second, but not throw. Gleyber Torres really just took 1 step back to the bag, didn't even get all the way back. A lot of new baseballs today for Gausman. Seems like he hasn't been able to maybe find the grip he's wanted. So he asks for a new one again. Righty in the set, glove above his belt. The 1-2. Bounce to the plate, sliding block by Jansen off to his left. Gausman licks his fingers, wipes them on the back of his pants, and steps back on. 6'2" righty, trying to get out of a jam. He rocks and releases. Inside, ball 3.
I would imagine that regardless of what happens during this at-bat, this is Kevin Gausman's last batter, especially with the lefty on deck.
Could be. You do have Yankees Cabrera, the southpaw, ready to go now. He's been warming up for a while. 3-2. Fouled back.
He's now thrown 106 pitches.
I think there's a small chance they let him go as far as Volpe. Grisham did single off Gausman in the first, but hits in the mid-100s, and he struck out Volpe 3 times. There's no shot that Gausman gets to Soto for a 4th time. Soto's reached all 3. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a liner, left center field. That one's troubling down. Coming around third, Torres will score. They give the wave to Ben Rice, but actually a late stop sign sends him back. It's an RBI double for DJ LeMahieu, and the Yankees are up 5-1.
Yeah, that was just a fastball that was left over the middle, and DJ LeMahieu's so good at getting to the barrel to the ball. We know that he's been struggling recently, but he's shown some signs of life in this series, and he just drills that baseball into left center.
After not having an extra base hit in over 20 games coming into this series, 2 doubles in the 4-game set for LeMahieu, and you were right, that'll be the last batter that Kevin Gausman faces. 5 runs in for the Yankees, still second and third for New York with 1 out in the top of the 5th. It's 5-1 New York. Yankees Cabrera about to come in. Applause for Gausman as he walks off the field. Let's go over to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thank you very much. We check the out-of-town scoreboard. Brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk today. Nick Ashbourne is here with me at the Rogers Center. He and I will take your calls and texts, 590-590, name and locations where you can reach us, and I will throw out the numbers for everyone to call once this game is in the books. All right, let's check the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Rapidly approaching the end of All-Star voting in the American League. The finalists have been unveiled. Aaron Judge was the leading vote-getter in the American League, so he's officially already off of Texas. And everyone else has been entered in a showdown for their respective positions. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Ryan Mountcastle are the two finalists for first base in the American League. You can vote for Vladdy once a day right now. Voting is open. So if you like, BlueJays.com/vote is where you can do it. The Euros continuing today with the round of 16. Switzerland and Germany moving on yesterday. Today we had England-Slovakia. Slovakia was ahead 1-0 for most of this game, but Jude Bellingham scoring the equalizer in the 95th minute with a bicycle kick goal. Harry Kane scoring in extra time, and England improbably winning this one 2-1. Spain-Georgia, the second game on right now. The game just started, so 0-0 early on. Monday will bring France, Belgium, and Portugal, Slovenia. While the last two games of the round of 16 will be on Tuesday, we'll get Romania, Netherlands, and Austria, Turkey. And as I speak, right now, an own goal, Georgia scoring to lead that game 1-0 over Spain. Over at Copa America, Canada is through to the quarters with a 0-0 draw against Chile. They will play the winner of Group B. We'll officially know the winner later tonight. Venezuela leads the group and plays Jamaica. So barring a massive upset, there are some goal differential scenarios here, but it would seem Venezuela is Canada's likeliest opponent. Blue Jays Baseball brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben and Chris.
Thank you very much. So Genesis Cabrera, the lefty, makes his 34th appearance of the season. Low fours earned run average. Second and third for the Yankees, and his pitch to Trent Grisham, left on left. Misses inside. Sinker, cutter, curveball, and changeup for Cabrera, who's trying to keep this game at 5-1 Yankees. Ben Rice is on third. DJ LeMahieu's on second with one out. Infield in the 1-0. Over the plate with a cutter. Grisham takes it for called strike one. Cabrera rocking back and forth is still now in the set, the 1-1. Just below the outside corner of that zone, a little bit low. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
And if I'm Cabrera, I'm either going for a strikeout or a pop-up here. You don't want anything hit on the ground. That's just asking for trouble, especially with the infield in.
Facing the 147 hitter Grisham, who has an RBI single today. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a liner foul into the netting down the right field line, 2-2.
Now you can expand. You can either throw that fastball at the top part of the strike zone, or you can throw that good slider down.
Cabrera adjusts the brim of his cap, steps onto the hill, sets at his chest. The lefty twists and deals. Missed downstairs with the heater, full count. Anthony Volpe is on deck, top of the order hitter and right-handed hitter for the Yankees. Left on left right now with Trent Grisham. No batting gloves for the Yankees center fielder. Here's the 3-2. Swing, and he rolls over it foul on the ground to keep this at-bat going. Pretty good cutter there from Cabrera, right at the bottom of the zone.
Yeah, he's shown some good stuff during this at-bat. The only pitch that I would take back there is that fastball, that 2-2 fastball that looked like a ball out of the hand, an easy take for Trent Grisham.
First base is open, but this is the left-on-left matchup. Cabrera's payoff pitch. Swing and a deep fly ball right center. Springer going back at the wall, leaps, and it's over his head, off the wall. In to score Rice. LeMahieu following close behind, and he's going to come in to score as well. Overthrow of the cutoff man from center field. It's a 2-run double for Trent Grisham, his first double of the season, and the Yankees lead 7-1.
And that's what happens when you get to a 3-2 count. You know, or at least Trent Grisham knows, that you don't want to walk him in that situation with the top of the order coming up next. So he knows that he's going to be getting something at least over the plate, and he just drilled that slider cutter off the wall in right field. I actually thought that George Springer might have a chance of catching that baseball, but it just went over his glove.
Now the pitch to Anthony Volpe outside, ball one. That will close up the line on Kevin Gausman, who had a tough one today for the Blue Jays. 4 1/3, 7 hits, 7 earned runs, 5 walks and a hit batter, 7 strikeouts. Grisham on second, the 1-0. Outside. Volpe is 0 for 3 today, 3 strikeouts. Cabrera's pitch. Fastball in there, 2-1. Lefty staring at second. One more peek, and the 2-1 offering waved and missed. Good changeup there by Yenesis Cabrera. From 2-0, he's battled back to even up the count. Nate Pearson loosening for the Blue Jays in left. 2-2. Swing and a fly ball. Hit down the right field line. Springer chasing it just into foul territory. He makes the catch. They call it fair as he was straddling the line. There's the second out of the inning, and Grisham remains at second.
Do you think if the score remains the same, do you think the Blue Jays are okay with the series split?
I think they're okay with it, but when you have the series win in your sights, it is pretty tough.
Yeah.
This is a reeling Yankees team as well that's lost 4 series in a row and only won 4 of their last 15 games. Pitch to Juan Soto is rolled over to second base. Fielded by Horwitz. Throw on to first in time. And that will end the inning. The Yankees add on 3 runs on 3 hits and take a 7-1 lead to the bottom of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
They had to make that deal in order to be a championship contender.
Basketball's business season is officially underway. And NBA Radio has you covered with wall-to-wall free agency action starting today.
Blockbuster deal. It's a 3-team trade.
We're breaking down every rumor and every signing.
That would be a huge pickup.
The NBA free agency free-for-all starts today at 6 p.m. Eastern.
It's madness. It's chaos.
Don't miss a moment on NBA Radio Channel 86 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Hello, Blue Jay fans. I'm Craig Ballard, host of your daily Locked On Blue Jays podcast. Locked On Blue Jays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On Blue Jays brings you the latest Blue Jays news and analysis and breaks down all of the action. Locked On Blue Jays is everything a Blue Jays fan could want, all in a 30-minute daily podcast. Download Locked On Blue Jays right now on the SXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or wherever you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Blue Jays.
Nobody covers the National Football League like SiriusXM NFL Radio.
Mahomes fires it late for the end zone. Caught! Touchdown!
Stay updated with the latest news leading up to training camps.
We don't care about expectations. Talk doesn't win games.
Our panel of experts is getting you ready for the 2024 season.
The more I watch this guy, the more I like him.
There's a story for every team on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
After the game, join us on MLB Network Radio. We're talking baseball with you all season long on SiriusXM Channel 89 and the SiriusXM app.
At Radio Network.
Bottom of the 5th inning in Toronto. 7-1. The Yankees lead the Blue Jays after a 3-run top of the 5th. Garrett Cole on the mound. The pitch to Kevin Kiermaier is fouled off the glove of the catcher Austin Wells. 0-1. Hope you're having a good long weekend. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Action starting in the Yankee pen. Michael Tonkin, the righty, getting loose. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Kiermaier down on 3 pitches. That's the 5th Garrett Cole strikeout of the day.
And he has just hit another gear. We talked about it before. He, in the first inning, looked a little bit tentative. His fastball was 93 to 95 miles an hour, but the last 4 innings, he has just been vintage Garrett Cole with that fastball in the upper 90s. That breaking ball has been incredible, and even that cutter right there was pretty good.
First pitch to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa's a breaking ball at the knees. Strike 1. Cole approaching 80 pitches, went 72 in his last start. 0-1. Swing and a foul tip, bouncing back behind the plate into the backstop, 0-2. Take a look at the injury report in a second, brought to you by Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Prera will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca. 0-2 pitch upstairs to IKF for ball and 2 strikes. Right on right, here's the 1-2. Fouled back. For the game, Aaron Boone provided some updates on Juan Soto and Garrett Cole, saying that Soto was significantly improved from yesterday, but they were holding up the lineup to let him have some swings, see how he was feeling. It hurt to grip the bat even yesterday, but was much better today. They held up the lineup, didn't have him in, inserted him in 5 minutes before the game. 1-2, fouled back, still 1-2. And for Garrett Cole, they said they hope for another big step forward. And I think you can safely say that today has been a big step forward so far for the righty.
You promised us that you wouldn't talk about Juan Soto anymore. You lied to us.
We live in a different world than we did 5 minutes ago. 1-2 pitch. Popped up, back of second. Making the call in shallow right center. Gleyber Torres squeezes it with 2 hands. And there are 2 outs. Here's Spencer Horwitz.
I can only imagine that Yankee land is collectively sighing.
In relief, that is, as the first pitch misses outside to Horwitz, 1-0.
With how Garrett Cole has looked today, with Juan Soto being healthy, I think that those 2 guys are obviously very important to this ball club.
Cole shrugs his shoulders, winds in the 1-0. Swing and a pop-up behind the plate. And that one will get back into the stands. High hopper off the concourse. It's 1-1. Horwitz has scored the lone Blue Jay run in this game. Walked in the 3rd and came around on the Justin Turner RBI single. It's 7-1 Yankees, 2 outs, bottom 5. With the bases empty, Cole waving off a pitch. Now winds and delivers. Fits one in right on the outside edge, 1-2. Cole shakes off a couple pitches. Now he has what he wants. 1-2. Fouled off. Waved off all those pitches to go to the seldom used changeup, but Horwitz leaned out and just got a piece of it.
I was actually wondering why he was shaking his head so much. 4 or 5 shakes there. And then he throws that changeup, the one that he rarely uses.
Throws it less than 10% of the time. 1-2. High with a fastball. I believe that was the cutter. It was 2 balls and 2 strikes. Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s on deck. We'll see if Cole will get to face him again if Horwitz continues the inning. 2-2 pitch. He won't face him. Call strike 3. 6 Ks in 5 innings of 1-run ball for Garrett Cole. We go to the 6th. And it's 7-1 Yankees at Rogers Center. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Our core values: equality, respect, the pursuit of greatness. Through and through, this is who we are.
Be at the ballpark to experience a proud tradition. Canada Day, Monday, July 1st. The first 15,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays Canadian tuxedo hat giveaway. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Proud to the core. Canadian to the core. Blue Jays to the core.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
0-2 swing and a miss, strike 3.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 6th inning at Rogers Center. Nate Pearson into the game for the Blue Jays. 7-1, the Yankees lead. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Aaron Judge leading off for the Yankees. They wait a second for the home plate umpire Tom Hanahan to get set. And now Pearson, the righty, in the set. And his pitch. Breaking ball, buckles Judge, called strike 1 on a slider. Pearson in his 34th game of the year, earned run average above 5, over a strikeout an inning in 31 frames. 0-1. Another breaking ball freezes Judge. 2 sliders get him to 0-2. Aaron Judge with a home run today, a strikeout, and a walk. And something's going on down the third baseline. Third base umpire DJ Rayburn was making a motion to the third base dugout, but I think we're ready to go now. 6-6 Pearson back on the mound, deals to the 6-7 Judge. Swing and a bouncer foul. When Aaron Judge homered in the first inning, he jumped ahead of Bernie Williams for sole possession of 7th all-time on the Yankees home run list. That was his 288th home run. 0-2. Foul tipped into the glove, strike 3. Would not give him a true fastball. He gets him on a slider, 1 down.
Good pitch right there from Nate Pearson. We've seen him kind of lean on those off-speed pitches more recently. Although he's given up 5 earned runs in his last inning and 2/3, he still looked okay. The stuff is better, the command is better, and most importantly, he looks more confident out there.
He'll have to be fish in the middle of the order still, even after getting Judge. His first pitch here goes to Alex Verdugo, misses outside. 1-0. So Judge now, by the way, 288, 7th in Yankees history. The next guy he's chasing down is Alex Rodriguez, who hit 351 homers just as a Yankee. 1-0 pitch is high and outside, 2-0. Which is pretty crazy when you think about the time that A-Rod spent away from the Yankees as well. A lot of success with the Mariners, with the Rangers. 2-0. Lined over the leap of Guerrero at first and down the right field line, a fair ball. Verdugo around first is jogging towards second. Springer digs it out of the corner. But it's a double for Verdugo as Springer's throw just goes back into second.
Good piece of hitting right there from Alex Verdugo. A hanging slider, and he just drilled it into the corner in right field.
Verdugo on second with 1 out. Gleyber Torres to the plate, 2 for 3 today. Has a double, a single, and a run scored. Peak at second, the first pitch. High, ball 1. Torres has had a pretty good series after sitting the first day. Next pitch, called strike, 1-1. He returned to the lineup after a couple days off in game 2 of the series. Homered and had a single. Had 2 hits yesterday and 2 more hits today. Batting average up to .227 now for Torres. 1-1. Breaking ball, high, 2 balls, 1 strike. And this is an important year for Gleyber Torres. This is the first time he'll reach free agency as a major leaguer. Two-one pitch. Swing and a miss. Started the hands late on that slower slider up and in and swings through it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Torres asks for time. We're here in the 6th inning, brought to you by Desjardins Financial Group. Desjardins awarded another 150 grants worth $20,000 each to entrepreneurs across Canada. See how Desjardins cheered on small biz at goodsparkgrants.ca. With 1 out and a runner on second, the 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Torres frozen there for a moment. Looked like it might have been off the plate away, but Pearson gets him on the slider. 2 strikeouts in the inning for the righty.
We were talking about how Nate Pearson was leaning on his slider more this year, his off-speed pitches more this year. Last year he used that slider 24% of the time. This year 41% of the time, so a big jump for Nate Pearson.
A lot of the hardest contact, oddly enough, for the flamethrower has come on the fastball. First pitch breaking ball to Ben Rice, 0-1.
Well, I think the biggest problem with that fastball is he just leaves it over the middle a lot. Whether it's 95, 100, 85, a fastball in the big leagues that's left over the middle is going to get hit hard.
Right on left pitch. Rice hits a fastball to deep right center field. Going back, Kiermaier, that one's off the wall. Around third, Verdugo scores. Into second, Rice hits an RBI double.
And that's proof right there. That fastball was 98 miles an hour, but it was middle. Ben Rice just drilled it off the wall in right center.
For Rice, his 2nd career major league double and 2nd career RBI.
And you can see just how frustrated Nate Pearson was after missing his spot there. Slammed his bare hand into his glove, yelling, looking at the ground. You can understand that frustration.
First pitch to Austin Wells, called strike 1. Blue Jays searching for consistency in a bullpen that's had a tough year and has also been ravaged by injuries. 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. (9-1) Yankees, 2 outs, top of the 6th. Runner on second, Rice. 1-1 to Wells. Swing and a miss. Started the slider over the heart of the plate and broke it in on the hands and low on Wells, who swung through it. It's 1-2.
Another thing that I've noticed about Nate Pearson is whenever he gives up a base hit or misses a spot with that fastball, he really shies away from it and then just leans on the breaking ball.
1-2 breaking ball, fouled off to the right.
He gave up that base hit to Ben Rice off the wall in right field. He's thrown 4 straight breaking balls.
He's thrown a ton of breaking balls this outing. 12 sliders to 3 four-seam fastballs. Pearson's 1-2 again. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 101 just above the zone. He gets Wells to end the inning. 3 strikeouts for Pearson, but he gives up a pair of doubles and 1 run. It's 8-1 Yankees going to the bottom of the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
From Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran
It's just you and me.
to Zach Bryan,
Where the hell am I supposed to go?
Phoebe Bridgers, Noah Kahan, and beyond. The Coffee House serves up the singer-songwriters reshaping the sound of this moment, alongside stripped-down classics and acoustic covers.
You got a fast car.
Drop into the Coffee House, Channel 3, and the SiriusXM app.
The most important person in sports is you, the fan.
Let me tell you something. I'm a real fans.
And your place for sports talk is Mad Dog Sports Radio, where your voice is heard all day long.
I couldn't wait to get into the truck, turn on 82.
Sharing the thrill of victory.
The joy, the jubilation. I can't stop smiling.
And the agony of defeat.
When is this franchise going to realize people really care about this?
Passionate sports fans call 888 Mad Dog 6.
You gotta love sports.
Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, or anytime on the Sirius XM app.
The battle for European soccer supremacy has reached the knockout stage, and all the drama of the Euros is on Sirius XM.
Oh my goodness, what a story!
Every match is now win or go home, and they can all be heard on Fox Sports Channel 83.
That is sensational!
Before and after the matches, hear what the experts are saying on Sirius XM FC 157.
They are proven winners right now.
No one is covering Euro 2024 like Sirius XM. Listen in the car or on the all-new Sirius XM app.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 6th inning at Rogers Center. It's an 8-1 lead right now for the visiting Yankees. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Michael Tonkin enters the game. For the Bronx Bombers, the right-hander taking over for Garrett Cole and ending Cole's day after 90 pitches. Righty went 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 run, walked 1, hit 2 batters, and struck out 6.
He looked good. You really can't say anything else other than the fact that he looked good. A lot of smiles in that dugout. That tells me that he's healthy after those 5 innings. The fastball was up to 98. The breaking ball was a vintage-looking breaking ball. A lot of tight spin, and then he even mixed in that changeup. Garrett Cole looked great today.
First pitch from Tonkin, called strike 1. One of the few guys who had success against him today, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at the plate, who's 1 for 1 with a single and a hit by pitch. 0-1. Outside. Good year for Michael Tonkin so far, who takes over here in the 6th. His 1-1 is bounced softly to third, backhanded by LeMahieu. Throw over to first in time, 1 out. For Tonkin, a 2.45 earned run average in 27 games. This is now the 22nd time he's pitched with the Yankees. Struggled early in the year with the Mets, designated for assignment by the Mets twice and the Twins once in April. Has latched on with the Yankees and has really turned his year around. His pitch to Justin Turner, skip to the backstop, 1-0. On the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, the Houston Astros, who will be here tomorrow for a 4-game set starting on Canada Day, we're up 4-0, have blown a 4-0 lead to the Mets in 2 innings. New York with 2 in the 6th and 2 in the 7th has tied the game at 4 apiece. 8-1 Yankees over Blue Jays. 2-0 count to Turner. Tonkin's pitch. Swing and a towering fly ball foul out of play. It was a bullpen day for the Astros today, who no-hit the Mets through 5 innings. But since the floodgates have opened in the 6th, they've really opened for the Mets, who are red hot and looking to complete a big comeback on the Astros. Former Met Justin Turner at the plate. 1 for 2 today. The pitch. Starts his swing but holds back. Called strike on the front door breaking ball. It's now 2-2.
Have you seen Michael Tonkin's picture on the team's website?
I haven't, but I'm
full beard.
Oh, 2-2. Swing and a fly ball. Deep left center field. Grisham and Verdugo both going back. Grisham gets under it and makes the catch.
It is really strange to go on and look at a Yankees player with a full beard. I mean, that's an obvious tell that he started the season somewhere else.
You want a good one? Just Google Rougned Odor Yankees. You won't recognize him. 2 outs, bases empty. George Springer up to the plate. 1 for 2 himself. He had a single in the 2nd. He swings at the first pitch and hits it foul down the left field line. 0-1. You didn't have a beard when you joined the Yankees, did you?
So I've never been one that's loved to shave, and it's not because I love having a beard. It's just the fact I don't like shaving.
Oh, one pitch inside, 1-1.
And I believe this was my second day up, maybe my third day up, and I shaved initially when they called me up to the big leagues, and then I didn't shave for 3 days, and Joe Girardi pulled me to the side. He said, "Hey, shave your face." And that was the most intimidating thing that's ever happened to me.
1-1 pitch fouled back, 1-2. I mean, clearly they're still able to implement it. I'm shocked that they are, really.
But even Garrett Cole today, I noticed that he has that stubble, but it's probably a day.
It's that $300 million stubble,
yeah.
1-2. In the dirt, 2-2.
Well, I don't think Joe Girardi's going to pull Garrett Cole aside and be like, "Hey, buddy, shave."
Well, that's the thing. Like, if it hasn't happened, but someday their best player is not going to like the rule. And if Aaron Judge showed up with a full beard tomorrow, he's still in the lineup.
Yeah. I'd be in Scranton. Or somewhere else.
2-2. Springer takes, called strike 3. Looked off the plate outside. Springer doesn't like it. It's a strikeout for Tonkin and a 1-2-3, bottom of the 6th. We go to the 7th with the Yankees leading 8-1 at Rogers Center. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face. Come and meet Ace and run base to base. Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior Jays, and with all kinds of cool new games and activities in the exciting outfield district areas, there's no end to the family fun you'll have.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop on the bandwagon fan. We're the in it for the long haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
A game-tying blast from Bo Bichette.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Top of the 7th inning in Toronto, Jose Cuas on the mound for the Blue Jays here against DJ LeMahieu, Trent Grisham, and Anthony Volpe. Second time we'll see the right-hander Cuas in as many days. Called up by the Blue Jays yesterday. Pitched the 9th inning, gave up 2 runs on an Austin Wells homer. First pitch to LeMahieu, sidearmed in and hit in the air out to right. Springer took 2 steps forward, but he'll move back 2 steps and a little toward the line to make the catch, 1 out.
And like we talked about yesterday, it's always important to have a guy like Jose Cuas in the bullpen, a guy that has that different angle. You don't want all your righties to have the same arm angle, the same velocity, things like that. So to have a guy with that low 3/4 arm slot, a lot of run on that baseball when he throws it, I think it's a good thing.
And Blue Jays have had sidearmers on a lot of their successful teams. First pitch strike against Trent Grisham. Can go to Mark Eichhorn. You can go more recent to Aaron Loop, Adam Simber. Loop obviously a lefty, so a bit of a difference there, but still a guy who came from the side. Cuas just misses down and in with a sweeper there. The count's 1-1.
And then because he has that low 3/4 arm slot, his slider has a lot of horizontal movement. It doesn't really have that vertical movement, so that's also a different looking pitch as well.
1-1 fastball, called strike 2. I think when you look at him and you compare him, let's just say to Cimber, who's the most recent sidearmer for the Blue Jays, he's thrown a lot harder than Adam Cimber. That last fastball was 92 miles an hour.
What was Cimber, 86, 87?
Something like that, yeah.
Much different arm slots, though.
Yeah, Cimber was like submarine. Next pitch, up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And credit to Cimber, he's having a good year this year. Actually, he's been hit up a little bit recently, but pitching with the Angels. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3.
I told you my Phillies story, didn't I?
You did. I don't know if you've told the people, though. You can tell the people if you want.
I was in big league camp in 2016 with the Philadelphia Phillies, and I threw my first bullpen. I was probably 92, 93, somewhere around there. High 3/4 arm slot, just your generic righty at the time from the bullpen. And I get pulled into the office after my bullpen, and
first pitch to Anthony Volpe, called strike 1.
The GM is in there, the manager, the pitching coach, and I'm thinking I'm either getting released or I don't know what happened. But the GM looks at me and he says, "Chris, do you want to make this ball club?"
0-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Heck of a question.
And my answer is, of course.
Yeah.
Doesn't everybody? And I'm kind of like pumped up at this point. I'm like, yeah, they really like my bullpen, my 92, 93 bullpen. He says, "We think you can make it as a submariner."
0-2, down and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
So the rest of big league camp, and I was there till the last day of big league camp.
Oof.
The rest of big league camp, I was facing big league hitters as a submariner, and it was awful.
It didn't go well?
No, it could not have gone worse. I was on the Blue Jays team.
1-2 foul back, still 1-2.
I was on the Blue Jays AAA roster about 3 days after, so
thrown over the top.
Yeah, starting for the Buffalo Bisons. That tells you how well my spring training went with the Philadelphia Phillies.
What's it like during submarine after never doing it?
Awful.
Before?
It's worse than you can imagine.
1-2 pitch is hit on the ground down the left field line. Good backhanded play by Clement. Throws in the dirt. Backhanded pick by Guerrero. And that gets Volpe to end the inning. Nice play both sides. We go to the 7th inning stretch. It's 8-1 Yankees at Rogers Center. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza, and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop-on-the-bandwagon fan. We're the in-it-for-the-long-haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
That ball is gone. Third home run in 4 batters for the Blue Jays.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Home half of the 7th inning in Rogers Center. It's 8-1 Yankees. Welcome back to downtown Toronto. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Michael Tonkin in his 2nd inning of relief starts Dalton Varsho off with a breaking ball for strike 1. Varsho 0 for 2 today with a pair of strikeouts. The 0-1. Called strike 2.
Anyways, the point of my story, my submarine story, was that the Phillies wanted a guy in their bullpen that was a different look, a Jose Cuas or an Adam Cimber, and I wasn't that guy.
Tonkin, nearly a sidearmer, misses down and away 1-2. If you weren't with us before the break, Chris was talking about the time that in 2016 the Phillies tried to convert him from an over-the-top guy into a down-under guy.
And it wasn't fun. Let's just put it that way.
1-2. Swinging bunt foul now down the first baseline. Varsho ran out of the way of it to make sure that he didn't touch the ball out of the batter's box. Would have been out if that was the case. Instead, he's back in the box. Well, there's two routes you can go if teams are trying to change you up at a certain point. You either become a sidearmer or you throw knuckleballs. Those are the two options.
Or you become a broadcaster.
Yeah, that's option 3. Go overseas. 1-2. Swing and a foul back behind the plate. Varsho looking for his first hit of the day. Broken 0 for 19 yesterday as a pinch hitter as part of the Blue Jays' 5-run 6th inning. Swing and a miss on the 1-2. He's down for his 3rd strikeout of the day. Let's go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. A ton of games in action today. 4-4, Astros and Mets in the 9th. Astros here tomorrow. First pitch to Danny Jansen, called strike 1. You got the Tampa Bay Rays up 5-0 on the Washington Nationals and out away from locking up the win over there. Next pitch to Jansen, check swing, pitch low and away, appeal to first, he went around, says Jeremy Rehack. It's 0-2. San Diego on the board against Boston, now trailing 4-1. But it's the 9th inning. Padres batting need 3 runs. 0-2. In the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes. A couple games just starting, including the Tigers in Anaheim playing the Angels. Set from Tonkin. His 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Gets Jansen for the second out. For those who stayed up to watch the conclusion of the Angels game against the Tigers yesterday, they went down 5-2, came back, and in extra innings, former Blue Jay Kevin Pillar kept his magical resurgent season going. Pillar has missed some time this year, but came back and hit a walk-off single to win it for the Angels. First pitch to Ernie Clement, called strike 1.
What's he hitting now? I checked maybe a month ago, but he was hitting like above 300.
So with the Angels in 37 games, hitting 314. Overall hitting 287. Had a really tough start to his year with the White Sox. Next pitch down and away, 1-1. But he's going to be a guy that people are going to look at, I think, to acquire from the Angels at some point. Experience. 1-1. Swing and a line drive center field. Base hit for Clement.
And I heard in an interview early on in this season when he was having a ton of success with the Angels that he was going to retire after the season. I currently find that hard to believe.
Why do you think that is?
Because he's having so much success. It's as a former athlete, and I retired because I just wasn't good anymore. My fastball wasn't great. I mean, the writing was on the wall for me. If teams were still wanting me to play, if teams were offering me multi-million-dollar contracts, I would have still played.
Fair enough. Kevin Kiermaier about to come to the plate. Aaron Boone walking out to the mound. He'll take the ball from Michael Tonkin and go into his bullpen. 8-1 the Yankees lead. 2 outs and a runner on first. Bottom of the 7th. Here's today's host, Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. Let's check that out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. We mentioned this earlier, but with the end of All-Star voting rapidly approaching, you still have a chance to vote for one Blue Jay, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., a finalist for first base in the American League All-Star voting process. He is a finalist against Ryan Mountcastle from the Baltimore Orioles. So if you'd like to vote for Vladdy, you can do so once a day starting right now. Voting opened earlier, about 4 hours ago. So BlueJays.com/vote is where you can do it. NHL free agency opens tomorrow at 12 Eastern, 9 Pacific. And the Leafs with some early business. Multiple reports now confirming Elliot Friedman's early report on Max Domi, who has signed a 4-year deal. It carries an AAV of $3.75 million. The Sharks re-signing Luke Kunin. It's a 1-year deal for $2.75. And the Sabres making it official with the buyout of Jeff Skinner. He is now an unrestricted free agent. An interesting wrinkle yesterday, if you missed it. The Leafs trading Max Ellis and a 2026 7th-rounder to the Dallas Stars for the rights to unrestricted free agent defenseman Chris Tanev, which effectively means that ahead of tomorrow's opening to free agency, the Leafs can exclusively negotiate a deal with him. Free saying Tanev could come in at 6 years, $4 million AAV. The Lightning continuing to make moves. Yesterday they dealt away Mikhail Sergachev and Tanner Jeannot. Today they acquire Jake Gensel from the Hurricanes for a 2025 third-round pick. Much like the Tanev move, Gensel is an unrestricted free agent, so likely a move to get a deal with him done before free agency opens tomorrow. And some basketball updates with NBA free agency opening today. You'll hear the opening bell in a couple of hours, but restricted free agent forward Obi Toppin signing a 4-year, $60 million contract to stay with the Indiana Pacers. Clippers forward Paul George declining his $48.7 million option. He'll be a free agent. And Warriors guard Klay Thompson also not returning to Golden State. He will also hit the open market. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Shulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Tim Hill, the lefty, is on for the Yankees with a runner on first and 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Kevin Kiermaier up and the pitch. Sidearmed in, swing and a miss. Strike one. Talk about different looks. Tim Hill certainly gives a tough one to lefties. Sports a fastball in the high 80s, a sinker that is, a 4-seamer in the low 90s. Swing and a miss on his rarely used slider. He gets ahead of Kiermaier, 0-2.
When Tim Hill finishes his pitches, he hops on both of his legs.
Seems a little antsy out there.
It's actually pretty unique.
0-2. Just high. That time he finished his pitch and kicked his left leg way up in the air, almost head high. Facing Kiermaier, who's 0-2 with a pair of strikeouts. Clement not held on at first. 1-2 pitch is rolled over softly to first, backhanded by Rice. Turns, flips back to Hill, who beats Kiermaier to the bag and ends the inning. No runs on a hit, 1 left for the Blue Jays. We go to the 8th. It is 8-1 for the Yankees. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
With 2024 training camps around the corner, SiriusXM NFL Radio looks back at the best moments from last season.
To Brandon Ayuk, it's the flip. Oh, he caught it! Caught!
The spectacular efforts, the game-winning plays, and the reaction from the voices that called the action.
How about that crazy play?
NFL Radio's top plays of 2023 debuts Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern on SiriusXM NFL Radio, Channel 88.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89. Or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues. Right now on Channel 87.
Aaron Judge drills a 3-run home run.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
Net Radio Network.
Eighth inning in downtown Toronto. A packed house here at Rogers Center. Over 38,000 on hand for the finale of this 4-game series. I'm Ben Shulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thanks for sticking around with us on this Sunday of the long weekend. Chad Green is in the game for the Blue Jays, getting some work in with Toronto trailing 8-1 in the top of the 8th. Green kicks and fires home to Juan Soto. First pitch called strike, 0-1. For Chad Green, a 1.5 ERA in 18 games this year. Fastball, slider for the righty, 0-1. Fastball on the inside edge, really good pitch to make it 0-2.
Tough assignment right here for Chad Green, Juan Soto, and Aaron Judge, although he's looked pretty good this season so far.
Green, the closer right now for the Blue Jays, but he hasn't worked since Tuesday, so they get him in right now. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a bouncing ball, hops off the mound, speared at short by IKF. Overhand throw to first, dug out by Carrero, backhand side, and that's the first out of the inning.
Good pick over there by Vlad. Easy play from IKF. I'm not sure why he bounced that throw, but that was a good athletic play over there from Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
That's picks on back-to-back plays from Vlad. And now with one down, here's Aaron Judge. Green, a longtime teammate of Judge's, pitches home and misses outside, 1-0. 97 there on the radar gun for Chad Green. The kick and the 1-0. Outside.
His fastball is slowly starting to tick up. He started out 94, 95 earlier this season, even some 93s. And those last two pitches, 97 and that last one, 96.
2-0. Swing and a miss. For Chad Green, this is his first full season really since 2021. Injured midway through 2022 and came back late in 2023. His 2-1 offering is a broken bat line drive, center field. Kiermaier pulls up on it to make sure the bounce doesn't get past him. It's a single for Judge, but I don't think you hate that if you're Chad Green, as he got some weak contact from Aaron Judge.
Well, if I'm Chad Green, I'm probably frustrated because it was a good pitch, a fastball that ran in on the hands, tied up Aaron Judge. But as we've seen so often, Aaron Judge is just such a big human, so strong, just muscles it out there in front of Kevin Kiermaier.
Better put by you. More what I meant. I don't think you hate that pitch if you're Chad Green. I think he executed there, but it just didn't go his way. First pitch to Alex Verdugo is hit high, center field. Kiermaier back at the wall, leaps, and he made the catch. Taking away a potential home run from Alex Verdugo, who's still walking beyond first base in frustration. That's a heck of a play from the Blue Jays center fielder. On second look, that ball's definitely getting out, if not for the heroics of Kevin Kiermaier.
Well, if there's one guy in this building that's pumped about that, it's the guy standing on the mound, Chad Green. It's 2 earned runs right there that Kevin Kiermaier saved him.
Now the pitch to Gleyber Torres, another longtime teammate of Green's. It's outside, 1-0.
He almost makes that look easy.
He's just done it so many times. 1-0. Swing and a miss by Torres. Went around on a slider down and away. So 2 outs, a runner on first. 8-1. The Yankees lead the Blue Jays, and you have to appreciate the hustle from Kiermaier, too, in a game that looks fairly out of reach. 1 ball, 1 strike, the pitch. Bounce to the plate. Blocked off the glove by Jansen. It rolls to the right. 2-1. Chad Green debuted in the majors with the Yankees in 2016. Gleyber Torres would come up a couple years later. He hits the 2-1 pitch foul, 2-2. Torres started 2018, was an all-star each of his first 2 seasons, and has had strong years each of the last 2 seasons, but in his contract year this year, has seen a big drop-off so far, at least in production. He takes the next pitch low, full count.
But he's starting to heat up a little bit.
6 hits in 3 games.
DJ LeMahieu's heating up. Gleyber Torres is heating up.
3-2 pitch. Judge takes off. The pitch is hit in the air, deep right. Springer looks like he's got room just in front of the track. He stops and makes the catch to end the inning. A single by Judge, and then home run robbery by Kevin Kiermaier. He goes over the center field wall to take one away from Verdugo. It's a scoreless frame for Chad Green. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 8-1 Yankees at Rogers Center. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop on the bandwagon fan. We're the in it for the long haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Hey, this is Tim Meza. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Isaiah Kiner-Falefa leading off in the bottom of the 8th inning. 8-1, the Yankees lead the Blue Jays here at Rogers Center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Tim Hill misses outside with the first pitch, 1-0. Lefty Hill on for his second inning of work. His 1-0. Swing and a fly ball center field. Hit high but not super deep. Grisham under it, makes the catch. IKF goes to 0 for 4 and his 13-game hit streak in jeopardy here as there's one out in the bottom of the 8th. Spencer Horwitz batting now for the Blue Jays. A tough left-on-left matchup with the side armor Hill. The kick and the first pitch. Inside, 1-0. If you look on deck, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. scheduled to hit is not out there. Rather, Davis Schneider is taking swings. 1-0. Swinging a bouncing ball to second. Picked up by Torres. Throw to first, 2 down. So here comes Davis Schneider as Guerrero, who's played often and played very well recently, will get a bit of a rest.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with that hand. I think that it's just a perfect time to give an AB to Davis Schneider and let Vlad kind of sit down and rest his aching bones.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think if it had anything to do with that, it's probably done much earlier in the game. Guerrero was hit by that pitch in the 3rd inning. He comes out here in the bottom of the 8th. 2 outs, space is empty. Schneider going through a recent skid, trying to get it back on track. And the first pitch is high, 1-0. Been ups and downs, but talked to Schneider recently. It has not changed the attitude for him at all. Still, dream come true, he says, being here, and he's working through it. Next pitch is hit up the middle on the ground. Sliding stop by the shortstop, Volpe. 2-hopper over to first. Gets Schneider. What a play by the Gold Glover. Anthony Volpe steals a hit away from Davis Schneider. It's a 1-2-3, bottom of the 8th. We go to the 9th inning at Rogers Center with the Yankees leading the Blue Jays 8-1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Up front tonight, the breaking news.
Stay informed and engaged with the stories that shape our world with the Sirius XM News channels.
Border Patrol and ICE have had to limit the...
From cable news to business.
And so the markets need to be prepared for that and the volatility and for that.
And international.
The strength of values. It's the strength of real freedom.
The Sirius XM News channels, starting at channel 112 and on the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app.
The Busted Open podcast is now available on YouTube. This is Dave LaGreca, host of Busted Open, the #1 pro wrestling show on the planet. You can now watch and listen to the award-winning Busted Open podcast every single day on YouTube. Our best interviews, behind-the-scenes access, and some of our best content from the past. All available right now when you go to youtube.com/@BustedOpenPodcast. Subscribe right now.
Your home for free agency is NBA Radio. We're breaking down all the transactions all week long on Channel 86 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Welcome back to Rogers Center. Top of the 9th inning. Bowden Francis is in the game for the Blue Jays, with Toronto trailing the New York Yankees 8-1. Ben Rice leads it off for the Yankees, the first baseman. Here's the pitch. Called strike 1. Rice with 2 walks and a double today. He's impressed all series. And we haven't even mentioned the fact that the rookie, who's a primary catcher, has also been forced into playing regular first for the Yankees and has looked relatively comfortable there. 0-1 pitch hit on the ground, 0-2. There's a lot of talk that the Yankees will look for someone to play in the corners at first or third with LeMahieu's flexibility now that Rizzo is out. But there's a chance that Rice is filling that gap in. He's been hitting well, and he's a lefty hitter. 0-2 pitch outside, 1-2.
Yeah, he doesn't have any big league homers yet, but if you look back at his minor league numbers, he already has 15 homers in AAA this season, so the pop is in there for sure.
He had 20 homers in just 73 minor league games last year. 1-2 pitch is yanked foul on the ground. Rice, Austin Wells, and DJ LeMahieu scheduled to hit this inning for the Yankees. 1-2. Swing and a fly ball. Deep right center, but playable for Kiermaier. Backpedaling, he makes the catch. 1 out.
Ben, have you ever done a Canada Day in any sport?
In Canada?
Yeah, is tomorrow your first Canada Day in Canada?
In Canada, yeah.
Are you looking forward to it?
Oh, yeah. I promised you a jean jacket tomorrow, Chris. I don't just bring that out at any time. No, that should be a ton of fun. It might be the most fun day of the year at Rogers Center. Bowden Francis has pitched to Austin Wells, fouled back, 0-1.
What is your most memorable 4th of July? Because I know you've been in the U.S. a few times for that.
Worked for some...
Don't say Chatham.
Rough teams. Yeah, I don't know. Chatham was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
0-1. Swing and a hot shot. Fair ball off the glove of Horwitz down the right field line. Horwitz scrambles to get it off the retaining wall for Austin Wells. It's a single.
And the only reason I say don't say Chatham is because I'm a Falmouth guy. And
well, the only other option that I have then is the Fort Wayne Tin Caps, which was a fun 4th of July. We'll have both Canada Day and 4th of July here coming up in the next series, which doesn't often happen. Blue Jays are not typically home on 4th of July, but they will host the Astros here. So it'll be an action-packed series for sure. Runner on first. They don't hold him. 8-1 Yankees. And the first pitch to DJ LeMahieu is low, 1-0. Do you have a specific either Canada Day or 4th? You weren't here for Canada Day against the Blue Jays in your career.
Yeah, I was not.
So 4th of July, any fun ones?
I mean, I've had some good baseball memories.
1-0. Called strike, 1-1.
But I think... I mean, this might be oversharing, but I think my most memorable 4th of Julys are just not having baseball and being at the beach, either in Florida or in California.
It's fair. I mean, a lot of people will be at the Cottage tomorrow. 1-1. Swing, no. LeMahieu holds back at the last moment. Pitch was borderline called a ball. 2-1.
But I think if we're just talking strictly baseball, I think the flyovers are my favorite part of any celebration.
2-1. Swing and a hard hit fly ball right center. Kiermaier tracks it down. Makes the catch. There are 2 outs.
Speaking of flyovers, do you have any idea if there's going to be one tomorrow?
There may be and there may not be. I have no clue.
Okay.
I have no clue.
I don't know why, but I always assume that you know everything.
Yeah, I don't. I don't even know that much in total. But I could very well see it happening. I think it's something that early tomorrow morning I'll be able to let you know. I haven't looked at the weather tomorrow either.
I'm doing that right now. So Monday, tomorrow, it is supposed to be 25 and not a cloud in the sky. So
that's what we like to hear.
That's a good thing for a flyover.
First pitch to Trent Grisham, high and outside, 1-0. Runner on first, 2 outs, 8-1 Yankees over Blue Jays, top of the 9th. Probably be a lot of eyes on the Blue Jays game tomorrow. Only 3 games on that Monday. 1-0. Downstairs, 2-0. Pretty much everyone has it off because almost everyone will play a 3-game series next week, culminating in that Thursday, 4th of July. One on, we go to the bottom of the 9th. Blue Jays down 8-1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned.
Ashbourne is here with me. He and I will have Jays talk here at the Rogers Center. We'll take your calls and texts after the final out. 590-590, name and location is the People's Text Line. You can text us right now if you like, and we'll throw the numbers for you to call after the final out. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Jays trail it 8-1 here at the Rogers Center, bottom of the 9th inning. Here's Ben Shulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you, Show. Josh Maciejewski is in the game. The left-hander called up today for the Yankees. He was brought up as Phil Bickford was designated for assignment, and Maciejewski will look to ensure the series split for the Yankees. Blue Jays lead the series 2-1, but Yankees lead the finale 8-1. I'm Ben Shulman alongside Chris LaRue. Middle of the order for the Blue Jays this inning. Justin Turner, George Springer, and Dalton Varsho are scheduled to hit for Toronto. Barring a big ninth inning, the Blue Jays' streak of 6 games in a row with 5 or more runs likely coming to an end. But two guys who are starting this inning, Turner and Springer, have been a big part of a recent offensive resurgence for Toronto. Maciejewski, the lefty, kicks and releases. First pitch, fastball down the middle. Strike one. Second appearance of the season for the lefty, who pitched once in early April. Swing and a fly ball by Turner, deep left field. Verdugo going back at the track, reaching for the wall, makes the catch. 1 out.
The way Verdugo reacted to that baseball, it looked like it had a chance. He was kind of feeling for that left field fence, but wound up catching that ball about 10 feet in front of the wall.
So quick out for the lefty Maciejewski in his first appearance since April 8th against Miami. Here's George Springer. 1 hit and 3 tries today. Quick delay as Maciejewski's adjusting the pitch calm on the left side of his cap. And with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th, he's on the rubber. Lefty's pitch. Slow breaking ball outside, 1-0. Blue Jays didn't get much going at the plate today, but they also were down a lot early. A really complete game by the Yankees, who were up 8-1. 1-0 pitch in the dirt, 2-0. Two-0 pitch outside, and Springer hasn't seen a strike yet in 3 pitches. Maciejewski walking back up the hill, stretches out his arms and pulls on his belt before stepping back on the rubber. The kick and the pitch. Low ball 4, a 4-pitch walk to Springer.
Well, if you're the New York Yankees, that's not something you want to see. Obviously up 8-1 in the 9th inning, you want to see your pitcher fill up the strike zone. But Maciejewski walks George Springer on 4 straight pitches right there.
So the Blue Jays have a base runner in the 9th, 1 out, 8-1. The Yankees lead. Aaron Boone called him the magic man today, Maciejewski. First pitch inside to Dalton Varsho, 1-0. Yankees are trying to get their bullpen a little bit healthier. Scott Efros is progressing through some rehab appearances right now. 1-0. Swing and a fly ball left center. Jogging toward it. Verdugo's got it. And the Blue Jays are on their final out. Danny Jansen coming up with George Springer on first. 8-1 Yankees. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. What a wild series this has been. The closest game in this series was yesterday's 9-3 Blue Jays win. First pitch strike to Danny Jansen. You had asked me earlier, Chris, I'll ask you. How do you think the Blue Jays, and how do you feel about Toronto splitting this series?
I think the biggest thing looking at this series coming into it is the Yankees were depleted. Their lineup really wasn't that great outside of Juan Soto and Aaron Judge.
0-1 fouled back, 0-2.
Gleyber Torres wasn't swinging the bat very well. DJ LeMahieu wasn't swinging the bat very well. And then Ben Rice was a little bit of an unknown. And they're heating up. I think that's the biggest thing when looking at this series is the Blue Jays. I mean, it's not the Blue Jays' fault that they're heating up.
0-2 pitch fouled off, still 0-2.
But I think because of that, you kind of have to be, like you said, I think the Blue Jays are going to be okay with splitting this series, along with the fact that Garrett Cole looked like Garrett Cole today.
Yeah, I don't know that they'll love it, but it's not the worst outcome. 0-2 again. Inside.
Now, I don't think they're happy losing 16-5 and 8-1. Maybe if those ball games were 3-2, 3-1, 4-2, those types of scores, more comfortable scores, I think you would be more okay with those losses, but you don't want to get blown out.
1-2 pitch. Hit foul behind the plate off the end of the bat. Springer leading off first, no hole. 2 outs, 8-1 Yankees, bottom of the ninth. Maciejewski's pitch is hammered down the left field line, hooking toward the foul pole, and it's just foul. Maybe 10 feet away from a Jansen home run.
Well, that was the best swing that Danny Jansen's had in a little while. Got the barrel to that baseball and drilled it about 10 feet foul up in that second deck.
Jansen, who came out of the gate incredibly hot, is searching for his first homer since May 20th. 1-2 again. Swing and a miss, strike 3, ball game. In a series of big wins back and forth, the Yankees ensure a series split by dominating the Blue Jays today. 8-1 is the final score in favor of New York.
Yeah, the Blue Jays just really couldn't put it together today. Kevin Gausman didn't look great, very tentative with his command, didn't really locate that fastball very well. And then Garrett Cole, like we talked about so many times today, he looked like Garrett Cole. The fastball velocity was up, the breaking ball command, the break on that curveball was as big and sharp as we have seen it in his career, and it was over early, especially with that Aaron Judge 2-run home run in the first inning, and then they scored another 2 runs in the second inning. It was just a tough overall game for this Toronto Blue Jays team.
The Blue Jays drop this game. It's a series split. We will wrap it up on the other side and get you over to Blue Jays Talk. 8-1. The Yankees win. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
When Blue Jays starter Kevin Gausman is on the mound, you hear a lot of pops at Rogers Center. The pop of the ball hitting the catcher's mitt. The pop of the crowd as they cheer on another Gausman strikeout. But most importantly for Goss, the pop of his bubble gum.
Swing and a miss. Got him on the splitter again. One of the best at his craft.
Gausman loves his gum. So be one of the first 15,000 fans on Wednesday, July 3rd and get your Kevin Gausman bubblegum bobblehead. Get your tickets at BlueJays.com.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikey's accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Springer charges the ball to left field. It's in the seats, and the Blue Jays are on the board.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. The Yankees beat the Blue Jays today 8-1 to split this 4-game series. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. We'll take you through this one quickly and get you over to Blue Jays Talk with Show Ali and Nick Ashbourne in just a moment. The Blue Jays today sending out Kevin Gausman against Garrett Cole, both guys who've had up and down campaigns so far due to early or season or spring training injuries. And you talked about Gausman a little bit, Chris, but Garrett Cole today, very, very good. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. The Blue Jays really did not muster much against the righty.
In his last start against the Mets, he really didn't look great. The fastball velocity was up in that first inning. I think it was about 96, 97 miles an hour, but you saw a very, very quick decline after that. I think he was about 93, 94. Even on a couple home runs, he was throwing a 91 mile an hour fastball. So that's alarming if you're a Yankees fan or if you're in that Yankees dugout. But today he was vintage Garrett Cole, mid to upper 90s fastball, a lot of good breaking balls, even mixed in a changeup. And the thing that struck me the most was the confidence out there. He looked like old Garrett Cole. In his first couple of starts, he just he wasn't as aggressive. He didn't look like he had in his career, but today he kind of put it all together. The demeanor was there, the stuff was there, and unfortunately for the Blue Jays, it was a tough offensive game for them.
Toronto's lone run came in the third. Spencer Horwitz walked. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was hit by a pitch, and Justin Turner singled in a run. At the time, though, made it 4-1 because the Yankees had a 2-run homer in the first, 2 walks to start the second, a couple of hits, and then another walk to help make it 4-0 at that point. Blue Jays would make it 4-1, but in the 5th inning, it really fell apart. Again, a single and a walk to start that inning. Kevin Gausman would get an out before giving up a double and another run, and then the 2 runs that he left on the bases when Genesis Cabrera came in would both score on a Trent Grisham double. Grisham ended up with 3 hits and 3 RBIs on the day. The bullpen for the Blue Jays was mostly clean for the rest of the game, and for the Blue Jays against the Yankee bullpen, they couldn't get a whole lot done, so they split this series, Chris, and now they welcome in another pretty tough team coming up tomorrow in the surging Houston Astros for another 4-game set.
Yeah, the Houston Astros obviously didn't start the season off very, very well, but they are 8-2 in their last 10. They are now 500. They're 41-41, and we talked about this early on in the season. You really can't count the Houston Astros out, especially with the roster that they have, and they're really, really coming on strong. It's a tough time for that Houston Astros team to come into Toronto.
They are still the team that's made 7 American League Championship Series in a row. We will see what's in store for that one coming up tomorrow. It's a really exciting Canada Day matchup starting at 3:07 Eastern. The Blue Jays and the Astros with Yariel Rodriguez facing off against Hunter Brown. This one finishes 8-1. The Yankees over the Blue Jays. The Yankees scored 8 on 12 hits, no errors, leave 10. The Blue Jays 1 run on 4 hits, no errors, leave 6. Garrett Cole with his first win of the year. He's 1-1. Kevin Gausman with the loss is 6-7. A 2-hour, 54-minute affair in front of almost 39,000 at Rogers Center sees this series end in a split. The Blue Jays now 38-45 heading into the Houston series. The Yankees are 54-32 going back home before they start a series with the Reds coming up on Tuesday. For our technical directors, Mike Jose Collins and Tom Young, our producer Nick Blackmore, our host Show Ali, and my partner Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Thank you so much for tuning in on this Sunday. Hope that you tune in tomorrow and make us a part of your Canada Day festivities, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Get your calls, get your texts in. Blue Jays Talk with Show Ali and Nick Ashbourne starts right now.
Well, Nick, a weird series for us to put a bow on. Every single game in this 4-game set, a blowout one way or another. Actually, the closest game ended up being yesterday's game, which was still a 9-3 victory for the Blue Jays. But the Jays get a pair of blowouts. The Yankees get their second of 2 blowouts today to wrap up a series split, which was an 8-1 loss for the Jays. I suppose a series split is not the worst result when it comes really against anyone, but against one of the best teams in baseball by record. But I don't know, when you have Kevin Gausman on the mound, you have a 2-1 series lead, I feel like, I'm curious to get your take on this. For me, the expectations, I think, are slightly higher and are therefore tougher to stomach when the result is what you get today. Like, it's not only a loss, which it was like a relatively highly uncompetitive game for the vast majority of it.
Yeah, and it's also where they are competitively, right? Like, this is a team that desperately needs an extended stretch. Maybe not a pure win streak, but whether it's, a 9 of 11 or a 10 of 13, something like that, to get back into the mix, to recalibrate where they might be at the trade deadline, things of that nature. Like, in a vacuum, the idea of splitting a series with the New York Yankees is not a problem, but in terms of where this team is at right now today, it's just not putting them in the right direction.
That's Nick Ashbourne. I'm Show Ali. You're listening to Jays Talk live on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and on the Sportsnet app. You can give us a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. You can text us as well, 590-590, name and location. The People's Text line is always open. Kevin Gausman, I think, for me, Nick, is the biggest story of the day. 4 1/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 7 runs. All of them were earned. 5 walks, which is particularly striking. 7 strikeouts, yes. He threw 107 pitches over those 4 1/3 innings pitched, 67 of which were strikes. And now, entering play today, and this is something we kind of talked around, I suppose, in the pregame show, but opponents had a .304 batting average off the four-seamer, and the Yankees were really looking for it today. I mean, he generally speaking, it seemed like he just had poor command of all of his pitches for the most part. Like, actually, you and I talked about this earlier on the pregame show, but the velo was something I was concerned about. Velo actually wasn't a huge issue today. Like, I don't think it was actually a problem whatsoever was how hard he was throwing the ball, but he had a real problem commanding, I would say, like the slider, the four-seamer, the splitter. I guess the splitter of all pitches looked okay at best, but that four-seam fastball, he had a real problem finding, like, really any part of the zone with it seemed.
Yeah, the fastball command was not there, and that was more of an issue because he couldn't get guys to chase the splitter today. He threw 12 swings on that pitch. Like, you need, based on the pitch mix that he's got, you need people to be swinging at the splitter outside the zone, be worried about that pitch, and then maybe you can lock them up on a few fastballs, have them chasing high, things like that. And the interplay between the two pitches did not work because he couldn't get them to chase on the splitter, and then he couldn't command the fastball. We rarely see him walk that many guys. It was his worst start of the season from an earned runs allowed perspective. Nothing went right for him today. At kind of the most basic level, it is kind of relatively simple the way he pitches. He's not purely a two-pitch pitcher, but effectively that's where most of his stuff is. And when neither of those two pitches is effective, it's going to be very, very difficult for him to have a good day.
Yeah, like to your point, he threw 107 pitches. He threw 4 different kinds of pitches. He threw the sinker and the slider next to the fastball and splitter. But, I mean, of those 107 pitches, he threw 63 of them were four-seam fastballs, and 38 of them were splitters. Like, so yes, he did throw the sinker and slider. He threw 2 sliders, and he threw 4 sinkers, and everything else was the fastball and the splitter. And I'm pretty sure on one of those 2 sliders he threw was, I think it might have been one of the hits given up to DJ LeMahieu of all people, right? Like, I don't know. If you're giving up ringing extra base hits to DJ LeMahieu in the year of our Lord 2024, it's not a great look. It's not my favorite look for Kevin Gausman.
No, and yeah, you talk about those other pitches he shows, and that could be a criticism, right? He's too predictable. Why is he only using these pitches? Like, there's a reason why, and it's not like the other ones are unusual by any stretch of the imagination, but he is good at what he's good at, and he pitches to his strength. And generally speaking, he's, you could argue over the last 2 years prior to 2024, he was the best player on the Blue Jays. What he does often works. Today, it really didn't at any level, and when he's not inducing those swings outside the zone, it's just not going to work for him. Like, that is what his success is predicated on. He's got to get guys swinging at those pitches below the zone if it's a splitter, or above the zone if it's the fastball. Yeah. If that's not happening, then he can really get hit around.
Yeah, he seemed to, like, very briefly corral the fastball in the third. Like, for a very brief moment, like, he finds Danny Jansen's glove on the outside edge. I think it was Austin Wells at the plate, who is a lefty. He gets Wells for the strikeout. But again, just way too many uncompetitive pitches for a veteran team like the Yankees to take. Too many walks, certainly. I can't decide. I'm curious where you're on this, Nick, because I can't decide personally if Gausman's 2024 season is just one where, like, a guy didn't get off to the season on the right start, to the start he's used to. There were injury concerns at the shoulder, and he started spring training super late, like literally started the last day of spring training for his first outing of the whole season, and then, kind of had the first couple starts of the year as an extended spring training. Like, I just can't decide if it's just a tough start to the year, dealing with something all year, never really gets right, and it's not going to be until next year we see him bounce back, or if this is, like, legitimately something to be concerned about moving forward as to, like, what Gausman is, as vis-a-vis, is he an ace or something like that on a start-by-start basis, which would be tough, right? Because I think we as the media and the fans and everyone who listens and watches, I think are very used to watching and listening to Kevin Gausman not just be, like, good, but be dominant, right? And I feel like there haven't been a lot of starts. Certainly we got the complete game shutout from him a couple weeks ago, but, I mean, beyond that, I'm not saying it's been a lot like this, but it's been a very, very inconsistent type of year from him. And I'm wondering, like, at what point do you get to the area where you think to yourself, boy, this is, like, we're in some trouble here, perhaps?
It's interesting because he's one of the few players that the Blue Jays have signed for multiple years beyond the season. Right. Like a lot of the players they're either unrestricted free agents after this year or after next year. That's kind of famously Vlad and Bo are in that boat. You've got a couple more years of Gausman, so you really want to ensure that he can get back to being that guy. And you talked about he had that the rough spring training in terms of his health, and he never seemed to get on track. I'm really interested to see what happens after the All-Star break because there's so little time in a baseball season to have a moment, regather yourself, whether that's physically or mentally. It's just such a grind. It's absolutely relentless. And so maybe having a little bit of a break could give him a chance to reset. I'm not really willing to give up on the idea that he's a top-of-the-rotation starter for the rest of his contract with the Blue Jays or his career, like that chapter is over. It might be, possibly this is the beginning of the end. I think it's too soon to say that. I'm interested to see what he does after the All-Star break, but it's possible that 2024 is just a little bit of a lost season by his standards.
And yeah, I don't think it's necessarily like the talent is no longer there. Like you still see the glimmers of it. And I mean, we've had this conversation about many pitchers over the years, Blue Jays or otherwise. But even if you wanted to only narrow the focus to the Blue Jays, I mean, Barrios was like that, Kikuchi was like that, and they both turned it around. And I know it's on a person by person basis, but I don't know. I just refuse to believe it just vanishes, just like boom, it's gone, right? And I think with Gausman, like even if we had not gotten the complete game shutout a couple of weeks ago, I still think I would believe it's like largely there. But the walks, I think beyond anything else, like certainly the command and getting hit around and 7 earned runs and so on. But the 5 walks was startling because I just feel like you almost never see that from someone like Gausman.
Well, even in this season, and we're considering this to be sort of an off year for Gausman, coming into today's game, he'd never walked more than 3 guys in an outing, right? Like you're normally going to see on his scorecard at the end of the day, it's 2 walks, it's 1 walk. Yeah. It's not uncommon for him to not walk anyone at all. That has not been the issue for him. He's only walked about 2 batters per 9 innings coming into this game. Like there have been issues with Gausman. It's been the hard contact. It's been less strikeouts relative to what we've seen earlier in his Blue Jays tenure. Him not being able to find the plate has not been an issue this year. He's been one of the better pitchers in the league, in fact, at that. So when you see him take something that has been a fundamental strength and turn into a weakness, even in one outing, it's a little bit concerning. But when I think, what's Gausman going to do in the next start? What's he going to do in the next couple of weeks? I'm not panicking and thinking, he's totally lost the handle. He can't control the ball anymore. Because although he's had issues this year, that really hasn't been one of them, generally speaking.
That's Nick Ashbourne. I'm Show Ali. 416-870-0590, 1-888-660-590, star 590 on your cell. Those are the numbers for you to call. Very quickly, before we get to Russ in New Jersey, we'll go to Russ in 2 seconds here. But before we get to Russ, an update on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. from John Schneider. Of course, we saw earlier Vladdy getting hit by the pitch on his right hand as he gripped the bat on the fingers of that right hand that were wrapped around the knob of the bat. So no protection on that hand because he has the guard, I guess, on his left hand, but just the batting glove on the right hand. So he gets hit right on the fingers, and his hands, I mean, it seemed to shake a bit because he was probably experiencing a lot of discomfort. And I don't know if you've ever broken any bones, Nick. I actually broke a number of the fingers on my right hand when I was in university, and it is extremely painful. Let me tell you, it's.
So I don't mean to brag in front of thousands of people on the radio, but I've never broken a bone. Okay. As far as I know, I'm invulnerable.
Oh, right. Well, let's hope we don't test that anytime soon. But the update from John Schneider is that he had an X-ray. Nothing is broken. Nothing is fractured. And when he was removed late in this ball game, when David Schneider pinch hit for him, it was just precautionary and had to do with the fact that this game was a blowout. So that's good. That's good news, I would say.
Not a lot of excellent news for the Blue Jays in today's game, but that certainly qualifies.
416-870-0590, 1-888-660-590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to the phones. Russ in New Jersey. Russ, thanks for waiting, man. What's up?
Okay, so first of all, about Gausman, I think the biggest thing about Gausman this year is, I think he's the biggest difference between strikeouts of any pitcher in baseball this year from last year to this year. I know he had 7 today, but his strikeouts are way, way down. I think maybe because his velocity on the fastball, so he's not getting guys to chase the splitter, but he's not striking out nearly like I said, he had the biggest differential from last year. Secondly, on this team, I've been calling up since the second week of the season. I've been a Blue Jay fan since '77. Okay, I went with all Kay, Roy Howell, and all those guys. I don't hope they win. because I want this organization to finally stop saying, oh, we're only 5 games out, 6 games out, we have a chance, and this and that. We have no chance. We haven't won more than 4 games in a row this season. Okay, you still have, what do you still have? 8 with Baltimore, or 7 with Baltimore. Okay, you have 7 with Baltimore. You still have the Yankees for another 3. You still have Boston. This team has shown no ability to go on that win streak. And let me give you let me tell you, let's say I could tell you the Blue Jays go on a run and they make the playoffs. Unbelievable, which is never going to happen. And they win a round. They win a round. They haven't won a game in the playoffs since 16, but they win a round. Then they lose. You're still in the same position with Guerrero and Bichette. We're not here to win rounds or to win playoff games. You're here to win a World Series. Now, I know it's a crapshoot once you get in and things could go wrong. But the bottom line is this team has issues. And the organization at the top has to stop lying to people and saying, "Oh, we're still in it. We're still crawling for the 24th season." The season's over. Okay, the season's over. There's too many teams in front of you. You've shown zero capability to go on a winning streak, and it's over. And you have to figure out who is going to run this team. And if Ross Atkins is going to run this team, it hasn't shown much that the trades that he's made haven't really come to help this team, but they got to make a decision of where this team is going. So you come in July and you're 10 games behind the wild card. Hopefully they'll figure out they have to stop, with the baloney, and they have to make the deals and redo this team. That's my comment for today.
Hey, Russ, thanks for the call. Russ, Nick, with a perhaps realistic, if grim assessment of the season, but he's not wrong. I actually don't think he's wrong. I actually don't think I've ever brought this point up with you, and something Russ talked about like hoping they should lose more because losing would necessitate some kind of change. But I said this to Jesse, and I think I said this to Daniele as well, so I'm curious to get your take on this. But I actually do wonder if the best thing for the team, just in a general sense, is to lose, right? And I'm certainly by no means advocating for like a bad situation, because frankly doing these shows when the team wins is way more fun than doing it when they lose. But at the same time, if you do want change, because I think a big part of the discussion is to change, you can trade Kikuchi, you can trade Jano, you can trade Garcia, you can trade Kiermaier or Turner or whatever. Like, those are all options. But I don't know, if Ross Atkins is the one still pulling the trigger, pressing the buttons, pulling the strings, I think a lot of fans would be relatively unhappy, right? So and I feel like the only way you will get your wish as Jays fans for that not to be the case, for him to be the one, making the calls, then ultimately I feel like what has to happen is for them to go on a massive losing streak, because of something we talked about before is the mere existence of the third wild card, to Russ's point, I think almost like tricks teams into thinking they could just squeak in there. And again, I'm not sure, it's great for revenue and eyeballs and casual viewers and so on, but for actual sustained success, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I think it depends on your relationship with the product, right? Like, if you are, as you said, something who's a more casual fan and you want to turn on the TV once in a while, or you want to listen to the radio once in a while, and you want a product that's going to entertain you, you generally want to see the team win. In terms of the cold hard calculus between what gets this team closer to winning a World Series, I think there's truth to it. Because if they did go on a big run and then they cost themselves the opportunity to turn these expiring contracts into potentially future assets and prospects that could be useful to the team down the line, that's probably not an opportunity you want to miss, because the chances are that even if they go on that run, it's hard to envision them making the playoffs, doing anything in the playoffs. So it is a bit of a cynical way to think of the team, but it's understandable that that's where fans are at, because there probably is more value in what you can do when you have a clear direction retooling the team than living in that ambiguity and hoping for an outcome that realistically is unlikely to come to pass, which would be successfully making the playoffs and doing anything there in 2024.
When it comes to trading away assets, I'm not sure if I know I brought this up to you earlier, but just for anyone who hadn't seen it, so Bob Nightingale, who writes for USA Today, had a variety of nuggets in his weekly column. He talks about how the White Sox made some overtures towards re-signing Garrett Crochet. they weren't particularly close, that the Dodgers have reportedly made an offer towards acquiring Garrett Crochet, which frankly no one wants to see that after the offseason the Dodgers had, but at least he did go on to say that that offer was quickly rejected. But kind of buried in there in his kind of column of notes was that the Blue Jays are basically planning to put all the UFAs on the trade block. And they're the guys I mentioned earlier, Jimmy Garcia, Yusei Kikuchi, Danny Jansen, Kevin Kiermaier, and Justin Turner. And I've kind of been on the mindset, Nick, that those guys, those 5 players, probably are not going to fetch you a lot, only because they're not going to fetch you the best prospects or even a top 5 prospect probably from another team just because they're all UFAs, right? Like usually guys with control are the guys who fetch you a little bit more value. Kikuchi probably fetch you the most. I know he's gotten beaten up a teensy bit, having a little less great the last couple of weeks than he did to the beginning of the season, but I think he's probably the guy as a starting pitcher who you can rely to fetch you the most value if that's what you believe should happen. But I did want to bring up Justin Turner because mainly because he had the only run of the ball game today for the Blue Jays. The RBI single in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Here's something wild. Before the game today, here are Turner's splits by month so far this season, since we have now wrapped up the month of June. My pal Rob Wong putting this out for us all on the old Twitter machine. Okay, so splits by month so far this season by WRC Plus. In April, he had a WRC Plus of 151. In May, he had a WRC Plus of 8. Just a single digit, 8. That's how, frankly, bad he was playing. And entering play today, and this is a game in which, again, he had an RBI single, had a couple of really deep flyouts as well. But today, entering play, he had a WRC Plus of 173. That is incredible. Like, again, maybe it was just a slump, but it's just kind of just funny because it just feels like that's the kind of pattern I think people hope they would have seen from, maybe not like to that extent in terms of the valley, when those peaks and valleys of May with the WRC Plus of 8. But I bring up the numbers because I think that does illustrate that he's kind of turned it around. And I do kind of wonder if he would have some kind of value at the deadline to some kind of contender.
I think that he has some of that value that is intangible, where people perceive him as someone who has been there, done that, seen it all in the playoffs, maybe a steadying presence. As a hitter, he doesn't have defensive value, and he's sort of slightly above average when you take all the numbers together. Those monthly splits are interesting, but one thing I will say about that is at the beginning of the year, he was driving the ball a lot more. Like, he has 1 home run in June. Mm-hmm. He's got a total of 6 extra base hits, whereas in that April, he had 12 extra base hits and 4 home runs. And he was looking more like someone who could produce in the middle of the lineup. It's been a lot of spraying of singles. It's been a lot of walks. That's valuable. I'm not trying to be dismissive of that, but there's normally a little bit more luck involved in that, and balls going through the infield and falling in and stuff of that nature. I don't think that he's really going to be considered as someone who's a middle of the lineup force, a top 5 hitter and a good batting order, but he's someone who you can use against lefties, and again, has that veteran presence, however much teams want to value that. So if he keeps going fairly well, I do see a market developing for him.
I'm not going to draw the comparison one-to-one to like a guy like Carlos Santana, mainly because Carlos Santana, when the Mariners acquired Santana, he was still like hitting like absolute dingers, right? Like he was still producing a lot of runs, whether it was home run or just driving in runs with extra base hits. So it's not a perfect comparison, but I do remember when the Mariners made that trade a couple of years ago. I do recall having the conversation with a variety of people, like whether it was Blair and Barker or guests on the station, guested on the network, just simply about the value of veteran presence. And I think, and again, like whether or not like fans value that, or I'm sure not even all teams actually value that, right? But I was told that a lot of contending teams do still place like a pretty large emphasis on getting veteran presence, especially for the playoffs, where kind of, as Russ alluded to, it's kind of all of a crapshoot. Again, does that mean like he's going to suddenly fetch you like some top prospect? Probably not, right? But I do wonder if that influences the decision for teams to go out and get a Kevin Kiermaier, similarly, another vet who made another phenomenal play today. I know that kind of is going to get lost in an 8-1 defeat. Maybe to a certain extent it should, but boy, I mean, like those kinds of guys are quite useful.
Yeah, I mean, Chad Green owes Kevin Kiermaier a steak dinner. That was a fantastic catch. I think the value in the whole veteran side of the equation is really context dependent, right? If you have a team, say the Los Angeles Dodgers, who's already packed with guys who've had these experiences and have been through the battles already, maybe you don't need to bring back Turner, for instance. But say you're a team like the Baltimore Orioles, that's a young and upcoming team, and you do think, oh, we are a little bit inexperienced here, we're a little bit green, some of these guys might get a little bit tense in these big moments, they haven't seen a lot of it yet. Perhaps there's a little bit more value there. As a general manager, you have to have a feel for your group and kind of decide, is this an attribute that is going to have particular value to my group, or is this something that we're kind of good on this already and we can leave it aside? But I do agree with you in that there are definitely front offices around baseball that see the things that Turner brings off the field and think there's value in that.
Real quick, just before we go to Gary in Vancouver, we'll get Gary on here in a sec, but I wanted to get your take on this. I saw the Kiermaier robbery of Verdugo today and totally agree. Chad Green needs to be given Kiermaier something. I don't know what, but he owes him something there. But I thought to myself, maybe this is because I've been thinking about the All-Star game more as it approaches, in like less than a month here, only a couple of weeks, really. But it would be kind of cool to see something like some kind of skills competition at the All-Star game, like something where you could do, like, I'm not really sure how you would even do it, but I know like the NBA has like the, like the dribble, pass, shoot event at the All-Star game. Like, I know like they're fundamentally different sports, but it just like next to the home run derby, it'd be kind of cool where it's like measuring some inventiveness around measuring fastest sprint speed, or like watching Kiermaier and Varsho out there, like how much ground you can cover on a fly ball in the outfield. Like, I know that sounds really boring in concept, but maybe it's just because like I've always felt I've never been a huge All-Star guy, and I always felt like it could use an extra bit of like oomph. But I don't know. I just spitballing. I thought it'd be kind of fun to invent something like extra, I suppose. Having said that, the MLB All-Star game is probably like the best All-Star game simply because of the home run derby, because I don't know, as much of a fan I was when I was younger of like the dunk contest in the NBA, even that's kind of, lost some luster a little bit.
Yeah, the NBA All-Star game is absolutely ugly. Yeah, baseball is a sport, it's hard in terms of how it might lean itself to skills competitions because it's so variable on a day-to-day basis, like where exactly balls go. There are no hitters are good enough to hit it to the exact same spot in the outfield at the exact same speed. But with a machine, you might be able to do something like that.
That's
I know
true.
that other baseball leagues around the world have dabbled in this a little bit, like the Korean League. I think they have some accuracy hitting things.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We're trying to put it to certain spots around the infield and outfield, which is not really realistic to what baseball's like, but it's kind of fun as well. I'm open to any kind of experimentation because the All-Star game and the All-Star break should be a lot of fun, and I feel like a lot of people just sort of tune out at this point.
416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Gary in Vancouver. Gary, what's up? What's going on the West Coast?
Not much. We got the weather's okay, but I was watching the Blue Jays attempt to beat Garrett Cole. I don't like Garrett Cole, but he can pitch. By the way, I wanted to thank your producer. He's a real cool cat. I like him.
He is. I agree.
What I was going to say is this. When you have there's only two guys right now on the Yankees. I was going to say the Dodgers, but on the Yankees that can hurt you. That is Soto and Judge. And Schneider decided to pitch to Judge in the first inning, or I didn't even see it, unfortunately, but he got a home run. Wrong. Then the next time he gets up, and I think it was the game before that, and he gets a single. Wrong. If you're a Tawny, or if you're a Judge, or a Soto, and as I told your producer, any of these players can hurt you, and you have a base open, give them put up four fingers and walk them. I don't care if you have to load the bases. Walk them and take your chances of the rest of that team. And he didn't do that. And in my opinion, I'm not like Russ. I could be, but I'm not going to go there. Schneider should be gone. I'm sorry. He's a nice guy, but nice. We don't want nice guys. We want a team that can do something. And when you let Judge hit, no way. Sorry, but have a good life. Go manage somebody else, but not the Blue Jays. And by the way, thank you for listening. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. Thanks for calling in, man. Well, what do you think? Intentionally walk Judge every time, basically. And it's funny. I mean, that's a conversation we definitely had when Shohei and the Angels were here last year, and certainly it was a conversation we had when the Dodgers were here as well. But with Shohei in tow, but I could kind of see it as the game goes on if Judge continues to punish you. But I don't know. I'm not sure anyone expected Gausman to give up like a meatball of a pitch to Judge in the first inning. You know what I mean? I think that's where I would draw the line. I'm not sure if you're intentionally walking Judge like in the top of the first inning necessarily.
Yeah, there's no one in baseball who is at that Barry Bonds in the early 2000s level right now. And I think that there's a little bit of a misunderstanding about how often intentional walks actually happen, right? If you look today, Bryce Harper has been intentionally walked 8 times. That leads the league. Like, it's a relatively rare play because the reality is that the average outcome is an out. Even the very best hitters get out the majority of the time. And so intentionally walking guys really only makes sense in a select sliver of situations, especially when, you talk about Ohtani with the Angels. That's a good example because the rest of the lineup around him, especially when Mike Trout would be injured, was truly putrid. So that's a little bit different. John Schneider this year has issued 11 intentional walks, and that's actually 44% a higher rate than the average manager. Wow. So the Blue Jays do it more than most teams, and they still don't do it a ton because the idea of giving up on getting an out and just putting a guy on base, the vast majority of the time, the math just doesn't work on it.
Do I understand doing it if like a guy's coming up to the plate for like the third or fourth time and he's gotten on base with like super hard hit contact every single one of those times? Yeah, I can kind of understand that. But like when the game starts, I mean, it was earlier in this series. I think it was in the first game of the series where Judge went hitless and was like 0 for 3 or 0 for 4 or whatever it is. Like he is absolutely gonna win AL MVP this year. Like unless really like Soto heats up, he's probably gonna win AL MVP, which again is like shouldn't be that surprising because last year he was even in an injury shortened season, he still hit the cover off the baseball, right?
He's a superhero, but he's not a god. He's like Batman. Yeah. He doesn't have superpowers. You can still get him out.
Last I checked, he is leading the American League, and I believe batting average, home runs, and RBI. But I mean, we are also a couple weeks away from the All-Star break, so we'll revisit that conversation when we are closer to the Triple Crown conversation. Let's take a quick break here, Nick. And when we come back, go back to the text line, 590-590, name and location. Haven't read any text yet. And we'll go back to the phones as well, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Blue Jays lose 8-1, but it is a series split for the Blue Jays and Yankees after 4 games here at the Rogers Center. You're listening to Jays Talk Show and Nick with you on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizzapizza.ca.
Bring it in, Canada. When it comes to small business, Desjardins is a big fan. And not just the hop-on-the-bandwagon fan. We're the in-it-for-the-long-haul fan. The fan that's been there from the start. That's why Desjardins awarded 150 entrepreneurs with Good Spark grants worth $20,000 each. Because like any fan, there's nothing we love more than celebrating a goal!
See how Desjardins is cheering on small business at goodsparkgrants.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
We're 2menandtruck.ca. We've got lots of men and lots of trucks, so get ready to be moved.
Think 2menandtruck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2menandtruck. 2menandtruck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2menandtruck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Our core values: equality, respect, the pursuit of greatness. Through and through, this is who we are.
Be at the ballpark to experience a proud tradition. Canada Day, Monday, July 1st. The first 15,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays Canadian tuxedo hat giveaway. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Proud to the core. Canadian to the core. Blue Jays to the core.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Next pitch, Moniak takes off. It's low a ball, throw down to second. They got him!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
I mean, there's still a whole lot of good, obviously. You know, I think looking back to the start of it, you know, kind of a weird ramp up, you know, with a short spring. I think you're seeing less strikeouts, you know, and he can really rack those up. Split has been kind of hit or miss, you know, kind of not carrying he has in the past. But you know, I think that's been the biggest thing. You know, a few more walks, and then the split isn't carrying as consistently as it usually does, which is his best pitch. So again, I think today just a tick off the zone, which led to a little bit of trouble.
That is John Schneider describing the start for Kevin Gausman today. 4 1/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 7 earned runs, 5 walks, 7 strikeouts, 107 pitches for Gausman in an 8-1 Blue Jays loss. It's a series split for the Jays and the Yankees. The Astros come to town for the first of 4 tomorrow, which, of course, is Canada Day. And, of course, happy Canada Day long weekend to everyone out there. At least it was an early game, so people can still enjoy the rest of their Canada Day long weekend. But we're here on Jays Talk, showing Nick with you until the bottom of the hour. And I wanted to read a couple of texts to you. There's one from Jake in Ottawa. Again, 590 I should say, is where you can text us. That's the People's Text line. I see a text from Jake in Ottawa in the nation's capital. He says, Gausman definitely didn't have a great day. All pitchers have bad days. How do you win only getting 1 run? Can't expect the pitching staff to give up 0 runs most games. This is true. Like, he's not wrong. But I think the reason I'm more surprised is because, A, Gausman is in theory your ace, even if he has not had an ace-like season this season, Nick. But also, I almost feel like the offense has I'm curious where you're at on this right now, because I almost feel like the offense has somewhat like earned themselves a bit of a reprieve. Like, if we were still doing the same thing we'd been doing and experiencing for much of the season, I think I'd be like, yeah, you know what, Jake's right. Like, Jake's absolutely right, because you can't I've said this a million times, but you can't expect the pitching staff, whether it's the rotation or the bullpen, to walk this tightrope all the time. Most of the time, the starters give you a chance to win. Unfortunately, Gausman was not on his game, and he didn't give them a chance to win today.
If you forget what Gausman did completely and just focus on the offense, they didn't have an extra base hit today. It's almost impossible to win a baseball game when you don't have a single extra base hit. So that criticism is valid, and they weren't facing prime Garrett Cole. Like, he's still working his way back. Now, he looked better today than he did in his previous outings, but he's still working his way back. So there were some opportunities, and they didn't make things happen. But you're right that there's a broader context, and the context is that they've been hitting pretty well over the last week or so. And they came to this game, the offense had consistently been good, and part of that is Vladdy. He's just been unbelievable in recent games, and kind of basically for the month of June as the powers come back. And then you have, Spencer Horwitz doesn't play against lefties necessarily, but he's been a top of the lineup factor as well. Isaiah Falefa has been hot. Yep. So the whole picture, again, is this a lineup I bet on going forward to be one of the better groups in baseball? Absolutely not. But it has shown some life. So when it has a lifeless day like it did today, there's really no other way to describe it, with 4 hits and 1 run and no extra base hits, it's easier to say, okay, that was one bad day than say, oh, yet again, they have failed to do anything.
I think that's why I'm willing to at least temporarily overlook it, if only because, like, again, if we were on, like, if they hadn't scored like 5+ runs in all of these games in the past week or so, I think I'd be like, yeah, you know what, like, Gausman had a bad day, but like the offense again didn't show up. But it's just in the last couple of weeks we have seen more life from the offense, which at least for me, I'm willing to give them a bit of a break. Although again, I think both things can be true today. Gausman was not great, and the offense was not particularly great either. I see here. Stephen Kitchener, I really want to know how long Jays management is going to keep focusing on analytics and ignoring what's happening in front of them. You know what, Steve? I would like you to clarify, because I almost feel like I said this a couple times, Nick, because and while I do think there is such a thing as maybe like too much information, I largely believe that analytics have helped most teams. And I know we like to joke about the khakis and the spreadsheets and like how you could just print off a spreadsheet and have you manage the team that way. And if that's the case, then like you or I can manage the team, right? But I do think that I sometimes I wonder if analytics. Because not all, and I think it was Mike and Victoria who texted this in a couple weeks ago, but when I was doing Jay's Talk, but I kind of talked about how not all, much like teams, not all analytic departments are created equal either, right? I mean, because if that was the case, then every team would do like what the Rays and Dodgers do, right? If they would all be as successful as finding the diamonds in the rough and sprinkling the pixie dust on guys who will immediately become successful. Like they would all be able to do that, right? But and I think the Rays and Dodgers are some of my favorite examples, because the Rays operate with like one of the smallest payrolls in baseball, and the Dodgers operate with like arguably the biggest payroll in baseball. So and they both find success in different ways, and I think that's why with me the usage of analytics for the Blue Jays specifically sometimes frustrates me, because sometimes it feels like it's almost being like used incorrectly or misapplied. For example, like we're not seeing it right now, but when Springer was batting cleanup, or when they refused to take him out of the leadoff spot and he was really, really struggling, like there's no way you can sell me that analytics is telling you to keep him in the leadoff spot, like, or keep him in batting cleanup or in batting in significant positions. I think that's kind of where I fall on it. Like it is important, but sometimes I wonder if it's used incorrectly.
There are significant misunderstandings with this whole discourse, I believe, because whenever you're criticizing something, you got to think about what is the alternative. And if you look around baseball, every front office is using analytics extensively. As you say, different departments are built differently, both in terms of the resources put behind it and the effectiveness, like the Rays or the Dodgers. But the idea that you're going to kick out analytics from building a team is silly, because it's a tool in the toolbox. Everybody is using it. I also don't think that the Blue Jays have a massive emphasis on analytics compared to other teams. What I believe is at the core of this idea is the way that the Blue Jays front office communicates, the way that Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro communicates is often not very relatable to the average fan. And they do speak in these generalities, and they do speak in ways that hint at the use of analytics. Right. I think it's very easy to paint them with a brush saying, oh, these guys are only interested in spreadsheets and numbers. And maybe the khakis are playing into that. I think, khakis are catching strays from the Blue Jays fan base. There's probably a time and place for them as a clothing item, but they've been poisoned now in the discourse. But there are other front offices that have the same amount of analytics as the Blue Jays and respect it the same amount, but they communicate in a way that indicates they're more feel type of people. And so I think this is really, it's probably more of a PR problem than a organizational philosophy problem.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. What I've never really considered before, because I think we do all to the texter's point, Steve, that we all kind of assume that they do rely super heavily on analytics. And I think it's not helped when, recently Schneider was saying something along the lines, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he was saying something along the lines of oh, well, we get to see things with data about Springer that the fans don't get to see and the media don't get to see, which I think is that seems fine. That seems pretty normal that the team has all these bazillion data points that the average person or media member won't have access to. I think that's fair, but I do think it's that combined with the relative opacity of the Blue Jays front office that doesn't really help when you are trying to question the decision making process, because you're right, it does because the way it's like, kind of word salady, corporate speak, like lawyer, politician way of communication, which I shouldn't necessarily knock because I'm married to a lawyer, but she does not like when I do that. But but my point being that those professions communicate in those ways, like on purpose, because you kind of need to obfuscate things a little bit, whereas like you don't really like need to do that if you're a general manager of a sports team.
Yeah, and that example with John Schneider is interesting, right? Because it would be very easy for a manager, and other managers around baseball might say to you something to the effect of, I really believe in George Springer. I see the work he's putting in every day. I think he's getting closer. He's got an amazing track record. This guy's been a star in our league. The talent is there. You could say something as basic as that, and you could have analytical reasons for believing that, but you don't actually have to bring them into what you're saying. And when you bring it into what you're saying and you put it out in the public square, you create this image of a team that is a little bit robotic, that is a little bit over-reliant on analytics, when the reality is that every team uses them extensively.
Text line question from Noah in Fergus. Noah wants to know, because we were talking about trades and so on earlier, and we talked about Gausman. Who do you think is more likely to be traded between Gausman and Kikuchi? I mean, got to be Kikuchi, right? Like only because Absolutely. He's a UFA and Gausman is not, like you validly pointed out earlier. But I don't think that necessarily means. Like I've always felt like if a player like Juan Soto could be traded not once but twice, then really anyone can be traded, right? Like there's not anyone who in theory is like completely off the table, but you do need guys to hit for you, and you need guys to pitch for you, and I think if you, as long as you believe that Gausman has the chance of turning it around, especially the way he pitched today, you think you can do a lot better, as we've seen even this season. You're holding on to Gausman, like you're trading. Kikuchi is the most likely to go, which is unfortunate because I think it'd be kind of nice to have him as a Blue Jay long term, but if you're trying to like maximize resources. If you believe, like Russ said earlier, that the season is already lost, and I think we all know, even if the record can fluctuate, but giving you some hope if they like split another 4-game series with the Astros coming up here, I think we kind of like know what the ceiling is of this franchise, of this team right this second. If that's the case, then you probably are best maximizing those resources and trading guys like Kikuchi, probably, which is kind of unfortunate.
In Gausman's case, even if you thought, let's go to the deadline and let's really retool this thing, maybe even take a step back in 2025, let's get as many assets as we can, which I don't think is the way they're thinking. I think they want to be competitive in 2025. But let's say you had that thought, trading Gausman now, he's just so low in terms of his value. Like, even with that kind of cynical mindset of we need to maximize our future resources, which is not necessarily what people want to hear all the time, with Gausman, you would just wait till his stock is higher. Like, you have him for 2.5 more years now. Like, give him a chance to have a good rest of this season, and you give him a chance to have a good 2025. Like, you could get more for 1.5 years of Gausman when it seems like he's pitching as an ace than you could for trading 2.5 years of Gausman when people are worried about his performance level.
Before we go, I wanted to play a couple of clips for everyone here. And there was a brief one on something that you don't see very often. The Yankees had put out the lineup much earlier today for everyone, for you and I, for example, and they circulated it here in the radio booth in the press box, and it did not have Juan Soto in it. And then 5 minutes before first pitch, Soto was in the game, and Schneider was asked about it. Let's hear what he had to say.
No, not that late. I got a text from Booney at 1:19, I believe it was. They had told us, a different lineup and then changed back. But, it was pretty late. It didn't affect Kev at all. We called down there as soon as we found out. Nothing really phases Kev when he's getting ready. So, that was the latest we've seen so far.
I was curious about how it affected Gausman, largely because you got to think that if you know a guy is not playing, because you get the lineups like hours in advance, that you prepare slightly differently. And I mean, not only you're preparing for like an average player coming into the lineup differently, you're probably preparing for Juan Soto of all people differently as well. And Juan Soto, I think did hit a single off Gausman like in his first ABA, the second batter of the game. But I mean, ultimately maybe it wouldn't have mattered because Gausman's command was a little spotty, just generally speaking today. But I admit I had not really seen that before.
It was a bit odd, but Juan Soto's a known quantity at this point, right? Like Kevin Gausman is a veteran. He knows what to expect. When you're preparing for a team, he's probably been preparing for the Yankees for a few days now in advance of his start. And so he probably didn't even think there was a possibility of Soto being out of the lineup. And that might have been a nice little relief when he first thought. But when it comes back around and Soto's back in the lineup, that's unfortunate news for Gausman and the Blue Jays, but that's the way it goes. The only time when this would cause a real disruption, I think, is a scenario where you're starting an opener, because when you're starting that reliever just to pitch 1 inning or 2 innings, you really are heavily zeroing in on those early game matchups, and that's a big part of how you select that pitcher. But when you're rolling out a Kevin Gausman who, even in a bit of a diminished form in 2024, you expect to be a strong starter who give you 6 innings on a good day, it doesn't really affect any of the strategy.
Speaking of Kevin Gausman, we've talked a lot about him and the 5 walks and the 7 earned runs and, just general concern for the team's ace. He did speak to the media as well. He just wrapped up his availability, and let's hear what he had to say discussing the bases loaded walk and how the game's changed.
This game is it's changed a lot over the last couple of years. I'll say that. And so, there's ways that teams are trying to find a way to beat you, and you got to kind of tie every knot that you can. I kind of had to switch up some things, and it worked out for me in that aspect. But I obviously still gave up 7 runs today, so not great.
And you mentioned also games changed a little bit over the past couple of years. What did you mean by that?
It's just